Hello there and welcome to the Bitcoin Takeover podcast. This is season 17, episode 3. We are live with the two core developers, like the main core developers of the Zano project, which is something very interesting because Roger Ver has been promoting it for a long time. He first mentioned it on the show like 2 years ago when he was on, and he seemed very bullish about it. And now, I think the last time he actually did an interview, he was saying that he is once again bullish on Bitcoin because you can tokenize it with privacy on Zano. And I've become intrigued with the idea. And part of the reason why we're doing this today is also that I've asked Tyler Spalding about Zano. And the way in which I described it in my conversation with Tyler Spalding was that it's a fork of Monero, and you guys got angry at me. And you wanted to get the record straight. We're here, we're discussing, we're not going to do any PR marketing. We're just going to throw punches if necessary. And what else? Yeah, the two guests are Val and Andrey, who, as I said, are the core developers of Zano. Val wrote the brilliant research paper behind the whole tokenizing everything with privacy project. I think it's called Zarcanum or something. And Andrey is also well known in the space. He worked with Nicholas von Saberhagen, and he created what was it called? Bytecoin?
Bytecoin, yeah, Bytecoin. Cryptonote code base. Yeah.
Which
I prefer
you're
to call
still
it
using right now for Zano.
I prefer to call it Cryptonote because Bytecoin associated with the project, which have a very negative association, and it's make a lot of sense. I agree with the negative feelings about Bytecoin, and the Cryptonote is technology, and I'm the one who was in charge of technology, so I prefer to call it Cryptonote.
Okay, but for the people who are not aware, what's wrong with Bytecoin?
The way it was launched, it's didn't felt well fair for majority of community who was observing it, and it wasn't felt fair for the me myself. That's why I left it right after it was launched to do my own thing. So yeah, association with the Bytecoin is very negative, both in, from my perspective and from perspective of majority of the privacy coins community, I guess.
Okay, fair. So for the people who don't know, Monero is basically a fork of Bytecoin. It's a community fork of something that had like a 80% pre-mine, and people were not happy about it, so they launched Monero, which doesn't have a pre-mine, but it has like a turbo mine. In the first year, I think a large chunk of the supply was mined. They don't like it when you say this to them, but it's fine. That's why we're here on the internet, fighting strangers. So what are you guys working on? You are the core developers of Zano, but what is it that you're really building here?
Who you want to answer for this? Because
I mean, you're the first one to speak, so go ahead.
We work on many things. Actually, we have a strategic directions that we're trying to focus, and we constantly distracted with ongoing problems that pop up here and there, always, constantly, especially as we, during last year, we started to get more and more integrations, and it brought some problems we didn't even know existed. And we constantly finding some problems that was like some time ago or new problems. And we also have a Immunify bug bounty program. And this is another thing that's cause a lot of distractions, and actually a lot of AI agents working, trying to get to us through the Immunify. And you know, the reality for blockchain developers or for whoever building something that is requires security, it's changed because of AI tools became insanely smart, and when they use the collective power of all AI tools, they try to penetrate the security of the project. It's put a lot of stress on us, and we work with Immunify, and we are pretty happy with them. But we have a lot of reports coming from this side also that's also distracting us a lot. So there is a few things going on in parallel, which we actually don't like, because me and Val, we prefer to focus on something, especially if it's like a rocket science part of it. We have to do research, but we, in reality, we like slow it down by a lot of these distracting factors. But if you speak in strategic directions, we have two directions right now. Main directions is new consensus that we've been working for the last year and a half, I think. And we also trying to figure out how to integrate full chain membership proof, which is Val's piece of cake. So that's the major directions. And we also have to improve the privacy problems on the network layer that was discovered in 2025, and we did a few steps to mitigate this, like as a quick hotfix, just to not expose our stakers. But a more fundamental decision is also our concern, and we trying to address it the best we can do. But we are just a few guys, the core team, so it's really hard to focus on everything at the moment. At the how to say it? It's just lack of manpower. But I think it's a problem for many blockchain projects. I've been watching other projects, even Monero, the big project, but they all also say that they have a lack of hands, and I think it's a problem for everyone.
Okay, what about you, Valeriy? What are you building?
Well, from the inception in Zano, I was just a developer, and we met with Andrey at the company that actually started the project that is now called Cryptonote and Bytecoin. But I was in different department, and I doing different things, just internal products. And so that's how I became familiar. And later, like few years later, Andrew invited me to join the project. And at the beginning, I was just developer, because we have lots of stuff to do, and because of this was proof of stake implemented on top of Cryptonote. That idea that was implemented and designed by Andrew. And later we started developing more and more, building building project and moving forward. And at some point we decided that we need to catch up with the modern privacy tech, and this privacy tech is hidden amounts in crypto transactions. So that what Monero did when they forked Cryptonote and started improving. At some point, they did this, and it's extremely good. I think it's huge milestone in the history of the cryptocurrency. And so at some point we decided that that we need to catch up. We implemented this, but at that point we already had proof of stake and hybrid consensus, proof of work and proof of stake. And it was a challenge for us, because in that model of proof of stake that we actually used, you need to disclose the amount, the stake amount, when you publish a staked block, because the more amount you have staked, the more probable that you will find actually a block. And that's why we started to find out how it could be done. And eventually this task was unexpectedly difficult for me because it looks like it's not very difficult, but it actually it was very difficult. And by the end of the day, we come up with a technology that's called Zercanum, and Kog, who is at that time it was core developer at Monero and a brilliant mind behind the Seraphis protocol. He helped us with the comments, and they invited him to join the work, the paper, and we come up with the paper. After the paper, we presented it in MoneroCon and Monerotopia, I think. Yeah, it was both conferences. And after that, we implemented it in Zano. We started to looking forward for other things. We came up with the idea of confidential assets, so you can transfer arbitrary assets in the transaction in the full anonymous way. So it's not clear which amount is being transferred, and not clear what type of assets being transferred, and even how many different assets are being transferred in a single transaction. So it's indistinguishable, basically. And after that, we decided to implement this, and it was another huge challenge for us because we need to come up with we need to support the previous tech that we already have, and at that point it was a hybrid consensus and Zercanum. And so now we have this running in the mainnet, and it works okay. So we still have a long list of tasks to do, and we are looking forward to improve privacy and to improve consensus as well. So it's similarly, it's like a never-ending story of improvements. So yeah, that's basically where we are at that point, and what I'm doing. I'm my position in the project. I'm a lead researcher, so I'm doing math mainly.
That sounds nice. You guys mentioned an incident that happened last year, and I remember very clearly I was attending BTC Prague, and I met a bunch of Monero guys there, and they're like, ha ha ha, you idiot, you bought some Zano, and I saw you tweeting about it, and it's dead. It got owned. The privacy is broken. It's going to zero. Sell before it goes to zero. I was like, what are you talking about? And it was exactly what you mentioned, that basically the stakers were not private, and some Monero guys who are very passionate for some reason about Zano, they decided to look into this, and they realized basically what are the top addresses that receive staking rewards. And because of this incident, because the whales got sort of exposed, even though you don't know who they are, you can only see their IP address and their actual blockchain address.
You cannot see the blockchain address. You couldn't see this. They were using rate of the block generated from some of the IP addresses, and even before we were like giving recommendation how to configure how to properly configure if you're doing staking, that you should hide your external IP address. And after this, we created even more comprehensive guide how to not get exposed in terms of IP addresses. But yeah, of course, people who hate Zano, who hate us, use this as opportunity to attack us. And the whole thing was planned because as we have an open bug bounty program for a quite long time, and there is a people who actually researchers who is trying to do research and they get paid when they found some problems. But those for the attack, there was not like ethical researchers. There was some people who just basically created attack on Zano and uses to just hurt the project, which is totally fine. The blockchain industry is quite wild thing. That's what makes it actually strong, because there's no regulations and it's Wild West. I think it's fine. And yeah, we just had a really wave of hate related to this, but I think right now we addressed this problem with a few manuals how to not get your IP exposed, but we are coming with a more fundamental solution at some point, probably next year, I think.
Well, I think we need to clarify a bit. So what was the finding and what the attack was about? So it's not about the math, not about the anonymity and the privacy that is actually in the math protocol and in how anonymous proof of stake called Zarkana works. It's just behind the network level, because once you stake, if you're staking your coins and you produce blocks, number of blocks that actually you are able to produce per time period is depends heavily on the amount of coins you've been staking. Because if you have like 10 Zano and you have 1 million Zano, if you have 1 million Zano, you will get a proportionally more blocks for that. And just looking at how many blocks a certain IP address are generated, you can guess, like not exactly, but you can just guess more or less accurately about what stake is being staken behind this IP address. If it's all the stake is accumulated in one place, just calculated the number of blocks. So it's not about the mass; it's about how network is working and how blocks are propagating, and about hiding the IP addresses behind the nodes being connected to the network, which is separate issue, and we totally agree that it should be addressed, and we addressed like in hotfix way right now, but we have plans to address it in more clear way to mitigate all this. But yeah, I just would like to emphasize that the math is still working and uncompromised, but the reality in which you're sending from your actual IP address, and someone can say, "Oh, I see you find the 10 blocks of Zano today, so I can guess how many coins you have." So that's how actually they did it.
Okay. I guess this is part of the reason why it's more delicate and complicated to have privacy with proof of stake. In proof of work, that there was a lot more work, to call it so, in making it.
I disagree with this. I mean, you just don't have this habit to keep proof of work blocks private, but it's also, I mean, if you look into decentralization from decentralization perspective, a proof of work that should be also private. You should know where all the mining facilities are located or controlled by this IP address, because it creates a threat. But it's not traditionally. It's a blind spot for all the projects, and even I think Monero Maxi realized that this proof of work itself is not that it's more private. It's just a blind spot. People just assuming, okay, we have a proof of work. We don't care which IP this coming from. But I mean, if you look into this from this perspective, it's also matter a lot. So it was just nobody bothered about proof of work part. Also, pool addresses are public. Everybody knows who is running pool address, because they are have an infrastructure open for the miners who use Stratum protocol.
Okay, but let's take this to Zano. You have a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake system. And my question is, which one of them has better privacy? The miner who gets the fresh coins via proof of work, or the staker who gets the coins from basically staking?
Proof of work miners have zero privacy at all. They expose IP address that the pool that control the hash rate. It's IP address exposed. They have zero privacy. They just don't think it's a problems probably, but they have if we answer the way you asked the question, proof of work have a zero privacy.
Okay, but if
I
they're
agree.
mining using a VPN from their own home and they're not using a pool, isn't that pretty private?
If you use VPN, yes, but it's the same for the staking. If you use VPN, it's fine. But actually, the way you ask it, no, hold on, let me rephrase it. The problems that you actually brought is more deep and more layered, because as I said, we recently spent a lot of time working on the pure proof of stake protocol, and we tried to address these privacy things from different angles. And for proof of stake, there is also a problem for that. Actually, even if you don't have a direct link, the rate of the blocks that generated, it's actually itself some of sort of information that can actually reveal something. And we're actually putting a lot of efforts to solve this problem as well. Yes, I agree that this, at some extension, proof of stake introduce more risks, even on the math level, if we don't, even if we not speak on the level of a network propagation of the blocks or transactions. But situation on the mass level is way better in Zano right now, and it will be also better with a new proof of stake protocol. I believe it will be better on that in terms of mass or statistical analysis related to blockchain itself. It was a fair point that network privacy in Zano should be improved, and we agreed with this. We agreed it's not at this scale that it was presented by some Zano haters, probably, but we admit that we have to work on this, and we will address this future. But also from the perspective of the protocol on the blockchain level, proof of stake is way more complicated, and it creates more complications. And yeah, we also look into this. But so far, I believe the new proposal is coming. We solved this pretty good on a pretty good level. And we'll ask a third-party company to do the analysis, what kind of information is possible to extract, just looking into the blockchain, just looking into the outputs, and all these details that you see on chain.
Okay, fair. So let me ask the question that basically is the reason why we're doing this interview. What would you say are the differences between Zano and Monero, and why isn't Zano a fork of Monero, as I mistakenly said?
First of all, Zano never been a fork of Monero. We don't have any lines, any code that taken from Monero. And it's opposite. I think most of the people who know the history know this, that Monero is a fork of something that's been created by me ages ago. And it's just not fair calling Zano. We are very similar projects, but calling someone a fork of another implies that we just copied, pasted what they have and use it without, which is opposite. We created the whole foundation, the whole 11 years of my work was building this whole thing myself with my own hands and with Val hands from the ground. And it's just not fair calling Zano a fork of something. It's true that it shares a lot of technology, but if someone who is familiar with the Zano code base, it's also actually, you can see that there is so many differences at this point that Zano is so different from Monero code base. Even Luke Parker some time ago was messaging, I think to Val or to you or to me, someone, he was saying, why Zano codebase is so different from Monero codebase? Like he was like surprising that we have so many things develop different way. And yeah, it's just a different project that lives in the same universe of technologies available to create privacy and to create consensus. And we use something that was invented by Monero researchers. Val can comment on this more. It's true, we never hide this. But even if we use something that was invented by Monero. We implemented, Val implemented all the cryptography, everything with his own hands. He didn't copy anything. For very healthy reasons, just to know exactly what we're doing, to understand the full DNA of every component that we put in the Zano code base. So it was also the right thing to do. Val, if you want to comment something on this from your side as well.
Well, yeah, I would like to say that actually there are some maybe several lines of code that actually was copied from Monero because it was a fixes that was at very early stages for with the credits, of course, because we always put credits if something happened. But for the huge things, for instance, ring signature scheme for Pedersen commitments, range proofs, we share a lot with Monero, but we diverge at very early point, and now we have all the technology implemented differently. But for instance, we have Monero have CLSAC, which is great technology, and it was a kind of ring signature that was invented and suggested in 2019. And at some point in Zano, we decided that we need to use good ring signature, and we decided to use this technology. But eventually, we came up with the extension, and I wrote a paper that is called DVCLSAC because we need to extend the existing technology from the scientific perspective to put it as a paper, as a contribution to the ecosystem. I hope, I don't know, but that's my hope. And after that, we use it in Zano. We implemented it, I suppose, differently because we have few hands here, and we really need to understand very well what we are doing, and we extremely the need of understanding our own code base is enormous. So we actually obliged to understand fully what we are doing, and that's why this work is going fully in house. So we maybe incorporate ideas, maybe we convert it to something new, and then we implement ourselves to make sure that we fully understand what we are doing. And if something went wrong, it's not on ours, but if something went good, it's also ours.
Okay, let me spice this up a bit. So my next question is, why do Monero bros say that Zano is a scam? And maybe that you need to process what I just said. You need to think of a good answer. Let me plug a couple of sponsors in between your answers and my question, and then I'll just let you address this directly. I'll start with Brains, which is the oldest Bitcoin company around. They started around 2010 as the first mining pool called bitcoinmining.cz, and then they became Slushpool, and then they rebranded as Brains with double I. And basically the ad for Brains right now is that they're going to launch something big next week. It's an announcement of an announcement, and they wanted me to really present this. So props to Christian from Brains for wanting to make the announcement of the announcement. Keep your eyes closed. Follow Brains on social media. I think they're on Twitter and Facebook and whatever, and Instagram. And make sure that you catch not tomorrow's, but next week's big announcement, because it's gonna be a game changer for proof of work mining in general. It's really big. I know what it is, but I'm not gonna tell you what. And also, I'm gonna plug Bitcoin.com news, which is a very good place to read news, even about Zano. If you type Zano in their search box, you're gonna see that they covered a lot of the development that happened. And what I usually like about them is that they're more balanced than their competition, where Bitcoin Magazine is too political nowadays and CoinDesk is too institutional. Bitcoin.com news is more in the middle. They also cover community news. They also cover lots of projects you don't hear about. They cover gold sometimes and geopolitics, and it's just a good place to find some balanced journalism. And they're no longer the website that tells you to use Bitcoin Cash because it's faster and it's cheaper than Bitcoin. So check it out. It's news.bitcoin.com. And I'll do another one, Layer 2 Labs. If they do succeed, we're going to have a Zano sidechain on Bitcoin. No offense, guys. But the point of this is to create a sidechain for every interesting altcoin out there. And what it takes for this to actually happen on Bitcoin is BIP300 for drive chains, which is still being discussed, is still controversial. Maybe that Litecoin will do it first, that there's a conversation around this. But basically, I think it's the best way to pay the proof of work miners in Bitcoin, because the security budget issue is going to become real in a few years. Miners are not going to be profitable anymore, so they do need to find a new source of revenue. And securing these side chains to collect the transaction fees seems to be a pretty sustainable model for them. And today, if you want to try drive chains, you can go to layer2labs.com/download. They have all the software for sidechains. They have a sidechain of Ethereum. They have a sidechain of Zcash. They have a sidechain of Namecoin. And they have a lot of interesting stuff that you can run on the Bitcoin Signet today. So check it out. It's layer2labs.com/download. And now, Andrey and Val, let's talk about this controversial question. Why is Zano scammy in the eyes of the Monero people, and why do you think it's not a scam?
I think you have to ask them why they think it's scam, not us, the people who make the claim.
I mean,
I can
just for
comment
context,
only-
you were on a debate on Monerotopia with some Monero guys, and you're trying to defend Zano to explain why it's not a scam. So I think you know what they're saying.
Debate. I mean, I was never. You mean on the Monerotopia show? I mean, the guy was making claims that he was contradicting even himself. He was saying that, oh, if Zana will burn the fees, started to burn the fees, you change the emission. So I don't like Zana. And I said, okay, Monero changed the emission model. Are you stopping like Monero? And he said, no, they didn't. I said, no, they did. After 1 year, they changed it, put this tail emission, which is actually a good thing, but they changed the emission. And he was like, no, when it comes to Monero, it's different standards applied to Monero. So that's what I got from this. The guy came just to attack project. I think I can comment on this. You have to ask these people why they think Dana scam. I don't care actually much about what they think. But what we noticed is as Dana getting more traction, we get more hate no matter what we do. It doesn't matter. And I feel that some of the Monero Maxi, not everyone, but some of the Monero Maxi are getting threatened because existence of Zana kind of break the narrative that they push. We kind of break the monopoly of Monero on this unique technology, because everyone else, if they are fork of Monero is like superior in any way because they built. But we are a unique project, and we built everything we built with our hands, and we are rooted to the legacy of this technology. And because of this, I think a lot of Monero Maxi feel that if Zana will be successful and will be growing and more, it will create a threat to Monero in terms of just success. I mean, at some point, maybe flip Monero on the market cap or something if we will be like super successful. And I think this the reason, that's the main reason why we're getting attacked, because most of the attacks are absolutely unreasonable, just hate in our direction for like whatever reason they come up with. And I'm not saying everyone, Monero has a really great people on board as well, and they some people may still dislike Zana, but they see our point, they agree to disagree, and still act respectfully. And there is a people in Monero who like us as well as a project. Maybe they don't agree with the direction we go or don't understand it, but they see us as a legit project as well. So, but mainly I think that's because of some sort of fear. I think that's the same reason why Ricardo was attacking me wildly at the very beginning of the Monero history. That's still the same reason it's still here. That's my comment.
By Ricardo, you mean Fluffy Pony?
Yes.
Wasn't he saying that you're tied to the Russian mafia or something?
He was saying many things. He was saying that I'm criminal, tied to Russian mafia. At the time, a botnet developer, and I'm a spy agent. Also, he was saying constantly that I am incompetent. And I mean, I don't even remember what else. I was not reading the Twitter, just some guys from our support was sending me the screenshot, and I was, okay, what? I'm not going to Twitter. I'm not going to Reddit. I will be just coding, which was absolutely stupid back in this time. And why? Well, that's why. I mean, I didn't make through it, but yeah, I think that's what was happening.
Okay, Val, do you have an answer for this claim that Zano is a scam?
Well, I don't have any better answer because it's bold statement, and mainly because I'm a technician. I'm not marketing and not a Twitter warrior. So it's not my field. I was never actually challenged by this type of question in, for instance, conferences, and when within my interactions with Monero developers. I have very pleasant experience, and I really grateful for them for support and for being able to discuss interesting things and to share interesting ideas. It was very meaningful and was very good for us and for our project. So to me, these claims like live in different universe. Just I never never see it actually. So some people in Twitter say something. So yeah, we see it every day, but it's not. I don't take it seriously.
Okay, so I'll play the devil's advocate in this situation and present the two main reasons why Monero Bros will say that Zano is a scam. The first one has to do with Boolberry, which was your previous project on which you worked, and they say that you sort of abandoned that one to start Zano, and they think that you'll do the same with Zano, just move on, pivot into something else.
How it makes Zano scam if I not abandoned yet? When I abandon it, then it will be a scam. It's not scam yet.
I don't know. I'm just presenting the arguments here. Don't
yeah, I don't
shoot
understand
the
this
messenger.
argument because I mean, there's a lot of people who was in charge of Monero, but then they left, and then other people in charge of Monero, but then they left and charge another people. How it makes Monero scam? I don't think so. So it's maybe if I will like somehow abuse the project and take all the money in the future and walk away with this, that's going to be scam. Yeah, I agree with this. But I think someone stole the money from Monero Foundation a year ago. Man, there's a people who is scammers, but
Wait, which foundation?
think...
Because they say they don't have such an entity.
Not foundation. There was a dev fund or something that was Monero donating money for development, and at some point the money was stolen. I think it was a couple of years ago or a year ago. But then some of the donators donated more money, and it was okay. I don't remember. I don't remember exact story, but I felt bad at this time because I mean it put the project at risk and at the stress of developers who don't have funds for future, which is like sad situation. But anyway, the comment is Zana scam because in the future I will scam. It doesn't make Zana scam. It Zana become a scam if I scam everyone.
Okay, but
All right.
what happened to Boolberry?
The Boolberry failed. I failed this project. It's true. That's fair point. And also, I think even if we speak about scam, I did my best to take the holders of Boolberry and make them to get them profited from Zana, and because we did a coin swap. So you cannot call it a scam. Also, I don't think there was I don't know if any other developers was doing this, that they stopped working on the project, there was burned out or something that stopped working on the project, but then they found a way to create another project and created the coin swap from old projects. I don't think it looks like a scam, to me at least.
I think I've read some Monero guys complaining that the time frame in which you could exchange your Boolberry tokens for Zano was very short, and they sort of
Yeah, that's
claimed that
true.
only insiders could actually do the swap.
1 month. No, it's not short. We 1 month. I think it's enough. But the problem was that we couldn't get Zana listed on any exchanges without a clear supply explanation. And while the swap is not over yet, we couldn't show what is the supply of the future of the project. We have to conclude it. Whereas there was a lot of people saying that we have to make it faster. And we have to like stand and say, okay, at least a month we should do this to let everyone process all the transactions. We should, and after the wrap was the swap was over, we burned the leftovers, the something that was not left, and then we got went to exchanges to get first listings. That was, I mean, that was the reason. I agree that there is a opinion was fair it or not fair, right decision, but that was at the beginning the way we operated the project. There is nothing. I mean, what is scammy about this? Because we were transparent about this all the time since the beginning. We did our effort to make our supporters who was supported my work a few years ago to profit from the new project who wanted, and we did our best to do this, to make this happen.
Okay, fair. But the other reason why Monero bros will say that Zano is a scam is that you guys had a Premine, and some of the coins from that Premine, you're still using them to stake and to
Absolutely,
fund development.
yes, and we will be using them for stake. Of course, I don't see how it's a scam. I think
they say they had the pure launch and they never had any sort of Premine or whatever.
Yeah, because they never did the launch. The launch was done by another guy. They didn't have to choose, so you cannot say that they decided to have a fair launch. They was giving this fork, and they will use what they have. Also, my point is, it's absolutely wrong. It's completely wrong what is happening because what's happening in a project like Monero, they also have a struggle to raise the money for the development, for ongoing, for whatever they do, and they do a lot of stuff. But from position of those people, it's fair that the biggest holders of Monero is just giving the money for this, and other are not. So you have a few holders who care about project and donate their own money, but there is also big holders who just keep laid back and see how other people contribute and build something profiting from this. I don't think it's fair that some of the people give and other are just profiting from this. And I know there is a lot of generous donators in Monero community. I don't understand why Vic or whoever else should spend his own money to build Monero and other guys just profiting from this. I don't think it's fair. I think Premine is a very fair project way to fund the project because it comes from emission, which is basically from the pocket of every single holder of the project, and it's kind of fair model. I don't think. I mean, I'm not believe in socialism or something that makes me feel it's not realistic. But I think it's not fair to build a project on donations and exploit some good people's feelings, and other people are just profiting from this, sitting in the shadows.
Do you have any opinion on this, Val?
Well, this, to be honest, not my piece of cake. It's economics, and this is the area that I'm really not very interested in. So I was there in Zano when these things happens, but I was too focused on the technical stuff. So I just agree what Andrew said, because like that's to me how things works, and I'm sorry now. I can't add something substantial to this.
I can comment a little bit more on this, and I don't think those people who are saying Zano is a scam because of the Premine is actually think this way, because we've seen a lot of people who believe the Premine, who was saying this also support Tari or other projects with the Premine. So it's just a matter to find excuse to blame Zano in something. It's been so many times we've seen this, so I don't believe in this argument that it comes from the beliefs of the person. It just use it as an argument, as excuse to blame Zano or something.
Yeah, but sort of Tari is from the inner circle, right? They look the other way. They could rug pull all of their users or whatever, and they would still act like, oh, it wasn't such a big deal because it comes from Fluffy Pony. And they sort of embraced Tari, and they were fans of it before it even launched. And they were announcing it like 7 years ago or 8 years ago, which is a long time. It took them a while to build it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying, that they have a, it's not the matter of the fact that they bring and the argument that they make, it's a matter of the blame, to put the blame on the project that they hate. So I don't think this should be taken seriously as a Premine thing. It's just something that they try to attack on our project.
Well, yeah, but I guess that's the lowest hanging fruit. If you find something that you perceive as a competitor, you're just gonna appeal to virtue, because that's the easiest way to get people to feel negatively about something. You say, well, they're not pure, they had their Premine. Doesn't
That's
matter.
actually what happens a lot in most of the blockchain project, especially big ones. People are getting tribal a lot, and they get involved in the tribal wars, especially if they invested money and have a stake in the game. So they getting very polarized, and then what happens, doesn't matter what your project have, even if you don't understand it or not, you defend whatever your project have. And if for example, if you see the two projects that compete each other, they will look what is different on those projects and attack it. Doesn't matter. That's how Zano been, or other projects been attacked all the way in the industry. That's how tribalism was working in the blockchain. And it's kind of interesting environment, quite aggressive environment, which makes some projects stronger and better. But it also, because of this tribal wars, and that the people are build identity around our project, and put into this identity some of the technical features. They will have a problems to improve the project, to overcome some problems, to see that there is a going evolution in the industry, and the projects are moving forward by improving something and getting better. But the project who tried to build not only technology but also ideology, and they put whatever they have inside this ideology, inside this identity of the people who follow this project, it creates a trick in the future. It hold project back from the improvements in the future. And Monero was one of the projects that was building really great ideology, and they have a great following because they were really good in this. But now it's plays really, let's say, joke with Monero because of the consensus. For example, if we take it, they've been saying for ages that the proof of work is the only way, and they were building this narrative about decentralization, about security, blah blah blah, which was false. It was not true from technical perspective. But to win against other projects, they have to do this ideology thing more and more and more. And now they have now they got in a very complicated situation, when even if for example some adults in the room, developers of Monero, will say, okay, we have to do this, guys, we have to change consensus to something better, we do it. There will be some idiots in the community who will fork Monero and create Monero Classic with the old proof of work and will be chanting the same thing, and we pull, and that will just basically tear apart the project and split it into two different parts. They will split liquidity, split community. That's going to be a mess. I mean, it's going to be a terrible situation. And I think what should happen now, that they have to start working on changing the narrative and educating Monero community about future changes that Monero has to do. So to avoid these problems, I don't think it's going to take a few years of this, and I'm not even sure if it's going to work at some point. But it's a big problem. Probably if we look better in ourselves, we probably can find something like that. We were saying probably we were cut or on our instincts to defend something that we do, but we are trying to always reflect and say that whatever we build, we have our goals. We clearly declare our goals, what we're trying to achieve, and then we're trying to build technology. And technology is never perfect. You can always build, improve, and do something better. And we're trying to look into other projects, what they do, just to get some ideas.
Yeah, just for the record, since I asked you this question, your token price went down by like 5 cents. I don't think it's correlated, but it's interesting. I was just checking the price and I noticed, okay, there's like a small dip here. Something happened. People got cold feet. They got scared. Anyway, to finish this introspection into the past, what would you say are the differences between Boolberry? I keep thinking Blueberry in my head, but it's Boolberry and Zano. What are the differences, and why do you think that Boolberry failed, as you said?
I was doing Boolberry alone with zero experience, with a very minimal understanding what is the project running actually is, and I was under impression that I will just do the great coding and everybody will like it, and it will be enough. But running a project, it's a lot of different things, and I just burned out at some point, being alone, being or constantly actually attacked, under constant attack from from Monero tribe. They did a great job on this, actually. I have to admit this. And that was pretty much it. And as now, Zana, that was a project of one person. Zana now is a team of people, great people. Zana has strong support of quite successful people in the industry. Roger is very vocal himself, but there is other people that we know are supporting us, and that's. I hope we still can make a terrible mistake in the coding. L1 blockchain it's a terrible job. It's a really very stressful, and it's very risky. But I think if we're not gonna make some fatal mistake on the code base, I think Zana is in a pretty good position. We've been pursuing our vision, pretty successful, and I think it's the whole industry started to recognize it. I think a lot of other people are noticing that it's right direction, especially with a securing consensus. I think it's now clear that proof of work is a dead end. So everybody will be looking into proof of stake at some point. I've seen the Zcash was talking about proof of stake. And also with, I think we had a really great direction with confidential assets. This is really that people like a lot, and I think we are in a pretty good position, and we done amazing job. Like, I mean, I'm not in the position probably to say it's amazing, but we done a lot of hard work to build the foundation of the future technological improvement of future technological success for Zano. So I think Zano is a really great project, and I don't know how to compare it with Boolberry. Boolberry was just a quick fail. That's it.
Okay.
Well,
Why do you keep calling it Zana, by the way?
that's how we call it between each other. But some people call it Zeno.
Yeah, Zano.
And we never had a strong opinion how it should be called. So what do you call it? Zeno?
Zano, yeah.
Zano?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I've heard Aaron Day and Roger call it Zano.
Yeah, they do it this way. And as I said, we don't have a strong opinion how it should be called and how it should be pronounced.
Yeah, whatever works for you guys. Call it whatever you want.
Okay, so I spent basically the first hour boiling you guys, trying to give you crap for the stuff that the Monero guys are saying. I think another reason why I'm intrigued about Zano right now is that you guys have had basically the best wallet support over the last couple of years. You got listed by Cake Wallet, you got listed by Bitcoin.com Wallet, you got supported by Edge Wallet. I know that Unstoppable Wallet is working right now to get you guys added. And in spite of all of this support that you had on the wallet side for users to claim self-custody, you didn't get very good exchange support. There is support on some swapping services, which is really amazing, by the way. But something that I did notice is that you don't really have support from centralized exchanges. I think one of the big ones went down. There was TradeOgre, and that one was shut down, and a lot of the action was happening on TradeOgre. And right now, MEXC is the biggest exchange in terms of volume for Zano. And it seems like your daily volume, and I don't want to misquote or misrepresent, so let me actually look at this. So your daily volume is about $1.5 million right now, and about $500,000, so more than 35% is on MEXC with the USDT pair. And my question is, why do you think that you're not getting listed on more exchanges? And the suggestion that I want to add to this question is that Monero and Zcash went up after they got integrated with near intense, Hyperliquid, and all of these DeFi protocols where people started trading the token because the privacy narrative is so strong that they are happy to trade this. And it seems like on DeFi, privacy is much more popular than on any of these centralized exchanges.
So what is the question? Why we suck at marketing, or
sort of not just marketing but exchange listing? I think marketing is good. You guys go to conferences, onboard people, have very good presence on social media.
We actually suck at marketing. It's true. We go to conferences because we can go to conference and speak with the people. That's no problem with this. But the marketing is a tricky question. I think about integration, it's better to ask Quinton probably, because he's handling integration parts. I don't know. Can we put Quinton on the stream to make him comment on this? Is it possible? Or
yeah, he's trying to join right now. I wasn't sure what's happening. What's up with that sound? I will let him join. Admit. And now I have to redo the layout for this. So just a second.
Hey guys.
Sorry about this. Hey.
I need to move everything around the screen. Just give me a few seconds to get this right. Okay. So Quentin is here. He is known as Mr. Quibs within the community. And I'm going to put him in the picture. Okay. So my question was, why are you guys not listed on too many exchanges in spite of being listed on pretty much every non-custodial wallet that's popular out there?
Yeah, it's a very relevant question, and it's I'd say it's a little bit of a circle that is very hard to get out of, because for many exchange listings you need certain requirements, such as more volume. But without the big exchanges, you can't get more volume, right? So this is a common issue for us. For example, we've been in touch with KuCoin over the last few weeks to get listed there, and they were actually quite enthusiastic about it, but they have certain stages of like getting approved by certain teams within the exchange itself. And we usually run into the same issue always. And what KuCoin gave us is that due to the ring signatures, they cannot list us. So basically, due to privacy concerns, like for them, it's a risk to list privacy assets. And then I told them, I said, well, Monero is listed on KuCoin, so why can we not get listed? This sounds like a bit of a silly reason. And then he said that he couldn't really give me an answer for that. But I already know what the answer is. I know that Monero has a lot of trading volume on KuCoin. And KuCoin basically makes a lot of revenue from the trading fees, right? So in case they get sued, they can basically pay their expensive lawyers from all the trading profits, the trading fee profits that they make. And Zano, if we would get listed on KuCoin, we would maybe get, I don't know, $1 million in daily trading volume there, many more of the tier 1 exchanges. So, without them, we cannot get much higher volumes. So it's a bit of a circle, which is hard to get out of. But with the upcoming hard fork 6 with the gateway addresses, which I would love you guys to touch base on as well. Hopefully integrating Zano, spoiler alert, will become a lot easier here. So, and that circles back to what you mentioned, near intent, for example. We've been talking with them as well. But at this moment, we lack some technical pieces to get integrated there. But from what I understood, but Andrey and Pavel can tell you all about this, hopefully, it will become a lot easier, hopefully, to get integrated into services like bridges, payment processors, centralized exchanges, maybe even as well, and also decentralized exchanges, because that is actually a part that we would like to focus on a lot in 2026, because we see it as basically the way out of the situation that we're in, that we have a hard time and struggling to get on more exchanges and getting our volumes up, basically.
Okay, I'm pretty happy with the answer. I do hope that you guys get the DeFi listings on time. And I did see some conversations about having a special kind of addresses for exchanges. What's that about?
That's something that we wanted to announce on your stream. So we've been recently, as we got listed, let's say it this way, as we got Zarkanum hard fork, and as people got excited about confidential assets, and we got a lot of interest to integration Zana, and we have a lot of frustrations. We're observing a lot of frustration from the people who wanted to integrate Zana with the integration process, and the all complicity of the privacy wallet custody, and a lot of companies or projects was just walking away because saying, oh, we cannot do this, guys. We cannot implement or we cannot use Zana wallet, because it's like nobody knows how to do an MPC, like multi-party computation or custody, secure custody for that type of thing, and or it was like very expensive to integrate it, it was taking a lot of time, and we got a lot of frustration with this. Also, we got a lot of requests from DEX who wanted to integrate us, but they didn't know how to do this. And also, as a experience from the Bridgeless team, that they also did some integration of Zana sets, but there is a limitations. And so to overcome these limitations, we came up to idea of gateway addresses, something very similar it's going to be, we introduce specific type of address in Zana, which will look pretty much similar how Ethereum address look like. It will be, in terms of technology, it's going to be balance tree address. So you will have a balance available immediately. You don't have to, you don't have to synchronize it for a long time. And you can control this wallet in a similar fashion as you control EVM or Solana address or Bitcoin address. And you can use whatever exists in terms of infrastructure in the outer world for integrating in a secure integration of this type of assets. We can plug Zana into this. And there is some problems also with this related to privacy. And we don't want average users to use this address for a regular basis, because it will be may poison a little bit privacy of the regular transactions. So we'll be using this, we'll be making this address expensive. So only some actual entities that integrate Zana can afford this and put it and use it. That's something that we are working on right now, and we're planning to deliver it at the hard fork 6 in a couple of months, I think.
Okay,
that's
that's
maybe
interesting.
Val, do you want to comment on this? Because we're working together with Val on this right now, like literally this week we've been building this.
Yeah, I just would like to highlight some features maybe and some decisions behind that. So we have a roadmap on this, and we would like to pursue privacy. We would like to. This is our goal, to make it everything that has in Zano to be private by default. We would like to this, but sometimes we need to find some compromises, and we would like to make this feature be convenient for services. So, for instance, if a shop or exchange service, or maybe other things, they would like to integrate that Zano, they can do this more easily, and even they can opt for how to say it properly, for KYC, for instance. For some services, it may be important, and some services may require this, and they may use kind of auditable addresses that we already have as Zano, but like they can use these new addresses that will give instant balance and will have open balance for the version 0, as we call it. And then we have an idea how we will be improving this and how we will be make it more private. In the next version, we would like to make it with hidden balances and with hidden assets inside these addresses, so external observer cannot guess what the addresses actually contains. But just for start, we decided to start with open amounts, and this is only for services, intended for services. And this privacy feature actually is quite hard to implement, because it requires very new math, and very difficult, and very we need to make sure that every bit of code, every bit of mathematical operation is very well done, and there is no risk at all. So that's very important, and that's why we decided to split it into milestones. I can it render this way. So yeah, so this is what actually will be in the nearest future, and after that, another huge milestone will be going for full chain membership proof, and adopting the ideas that guys actually developing very actively, and we're watching closely, and we're excited about that because this will be another huge milestone for like every Cryptonote based project, and we would like to use it as well. But for us, it will be very difficult because we have proof of stake and because we have confidential assets that makes all the math like way more complicated. So it's not we have no way just to get in use. We need to reinvent it in house. So this will be our next milestone.
Right, so to summarize, you're gonna have a hard fork of the network where you're gonna add a new address type. You're gonna go from hybrid proof of work, proof of stake to only proof of stake.
No, it's going to be with next proof of work, with hard fork. It's going to be with the next hard fork. Hard fork 6 is going to be in a few months, and it will introduce new type of addresses that will help to bridge and the access easily integrate Zano and get the confidential assets more accessible over the DeFi infrastructure. Proof of stake, pure proof of stake, it's a big work. It's a lot of research still ongoing, and then it's going to be a lot of coding, then it's going to be test network running, and then it's going to be a lot of engineering problems that we have to overcome, and then it's going to be main deployment.
Yeah, we actively working on this right now at the moment, parallel track.
But
And
you also have the full chain membership proofs that you're planning to add whenever they're ready.
Yeah, it's like its future. So now we're not actively investigated it. We just we need to focus on the things that we need to implement and to make first. And so this is our goal, and we need to make proper decision right now just to make it align with our future and our goals in the future.
Okay, so these are basically the 3 big improvements that people who are interested in Zano should look up to. I was going to ask you about the main use case which I find interesting, which is bridging Bitcoin and basically having a tokenized version on Bitcoin issued on the Zano blockchain that you can trade with privacy. But before that, let me plug 2 more sponsors. First of all, I'll go with Noons.com, which is an exchange whose CEO is Ray Youssef, and you might be familiar with Ray because he's quite a character. And I think you might be actually interested in listing Zano if you talk to him, because he already has Monero on his exchange. He has Ton and BNB and a bunch of other coins, which I think are less interesting than Zano is. So you can reach out to him, or I can get you in contact if you're interested to talk about potentially having Zano on Noons.com. But what it is basically is a peer-to-peer marketplace where usually people from the global south are trading. So if you decide that you want to register and sign up to trade on Noons, you're not just making money on your investment, but you're also giving liquidity to these people who really need it because their fiat currencies are failing and they need to hustle these cryptos on a daily basis to be able to make a living. And I think that's a pretty nice cause, to be honest. Like, you're gonna sell to people who are gonna sell it for a premium at some point, and you're supporting their struggles, basically. They're trying to make it out of their system and improve their lives, and it's really beautiful. Most of their users are from Nigeria, from Latin America, from the Middle East, and it's such a cool platform. They also have a spot marketplace. They also have a swapping service. They have a debit card for spending your coins if you're into that. I think they have a lot of stuff, but I come back to this use case of just empowering the global south through the peer-to-peer marketplace. I think that's really beautiful. Check it out. The URL is noones.com, noons.com. And last but not least, there is SiteShift. And I don't think you guys will ever get listed on SiteShift because they're very cautious about regulations and they don't want to list any privacy projects, essentially. So I think they had Zcash and the Lightning Network, they delisted them. But it's very cool when someone wants to pay you in stable coins and you don't want to hold stable coins for reasons which concern the fact that we might still be in a bull market, or maybe that you're concerned with the fact that stable coins are not censorship resistant. So Tether or Circle can decide to freeze your address, freeze your funds, and make them basically worthless. So the fact that you're not in charge of your funds is good enough of a reason to swap them for free market money like Bitcoin or whatever you might prefer, Ethereum, Litecoin. They have it all, unless it has privacy on SideShift. And the URL is sideshift.ai, sideshift.ai, and they have good liquidity, they have low fees, and you can do these swaps. Also, if you think that we reached the top of the market and the prices went the highest that they will be, and you want to swap for stable coins, you can also do that. So check it out. It's sideshift.ai. And thank you to everyone who sat through my ads. Now let's talk about basically what you guys are building here and the fact that you can tokenize Bitcoin. I think that's the interesting use case that I find. I know that you also have a stable coin now, which is sort of like DAI on Ethereum, algorithmic. Which one do you want to talk about first? Let's discuss what you have.
It's up to you.
Right, so bridged Bitcoin. You have something that's called a confidential layer that lets people send their Bitcoin through this bridge to tokenize on Zano. How does this work?
It's not we have it. It's we don't have it. Someone built a project that does the bridging. It works pretty much similar as most of the bridges works with distributed custody. I don't know if I have to go into details. I'm quite familiar with the protocol that they use, but I'm not sure if it's worse because most of the bridges, the good ones, works by using shared custody with a shared key. They're using pretty much the same. And we made it possible because we specifically left in Zana specific plug that was possible to connect the bridges like this in the form of asset descriptor operation that is could be controlled by trivial keys from pseudonymous blockchain like Ethereum or Bitcoin. So that's what they use, and that's how it works. It's still problematic to bridge token that was created, was raised on the Zana blockchain, to bridge it in the outside world. And that's where gateway addresses, when it will be rolled out, will help to implement this and solve this problem. But basically, right now it works because we left specific plug for this in asset descriptor operations. I don't know. Do I have to go into more details? But I don't have much to say here about this. It's just a technical solution, technical idea that we had a few years ago when we were just implementing Zarkanum to make able Zana to host tokens that come from outer world. That's what it is now.
I can highlight like overall technical how it works. So we have confidential assets in Zano, so it means that everyone can create their own confidential asset and control the emission, and transferring of this asset inside the Zano blockchain is anonymous. So you like can see from the outside what the assets actually being transferred. Then if then we created a technology that Andrey called ionic swap. So basically we can construct a transaction that on the one side have one pair of assets, and on the output side have another pair of assets, like the same pair but like in different order for different parties. And basically that means that you can, in one transaction, exchange one asset to another asset in one party in quite anonymous way. That's really interesting and efficient way to do this. And then external services like can build, using this technology, can build a bridge on top of this. Andrew mentioned that we, at some point, we allow controlling the asset you created in Zano, not only by Zano internal public key cryptography, but also using like more EDSA and more familiar for Ethereum style cryptography as well. And it's much easier to implement for services, we suppose. And using these instruments, external servers can build, for instance, a bridge or whatever. And yes, bridge can utilize technology called, for instance, multi-party secure computation, and to share the between many holders this ownership of these assets, so to mitigate the risks and to swap it in a very secure way. So this is highlight like from top view how it works.
Okay, you guys decided, I think you had a community vote or something. And right now, when you open the Zano node client, you're going to see that you have some assets listed there, even if you hold 0 of them. You have, if I'm not mistaken, the bridged Bitcoin, you have the bridged Ethereum, and you have the Freedom Dollar, GFUSD.
Yeah, that's correct.
Basically, the reason why you created this network was for people to be able to build these, to be able to bridge other assets into Zano and also create something native to Zano.
All right. Yeah, but what is the question?
So, are you involved in any of these directly? Do you work on bridged Bitcoin or on FUSD?
No, we're not working on this. We are advising this project but we will be helping any project that will be bridging, trying to build a bridge to Zana. The reason why we put it this way right now, so you can see it like highlighted in the wallet. So we want to show the users that Zana already have assets, that they can use assets, and that they can actually bridge it to the Zana wallet right now, and it's already exists in the legitimate project. But later, for example, if we have more bridges, more assets deployed on the Zana network and whitelisted, we'll review this approach, and only if you have a coins, you will see the balance on this. Right now, we just want to entertain our community and show them, okay, you see the magic of confidential assets is already here. See it and enjoy it. That's why it's highlighted right now. But so far, we don't have any other userful legitimate assets, as far as I know, on Zana network. At least no one contacted us and showed something.
I have a Vladcoin.
Yeah, I see, but the point, Vladcoin is not whitelisted. Maybe that's what he's trying to ask us.
No, I mean, that would be funny if you actually whitelisted for everyone to see that they have 0 Vladcoin, because I think I only made like 69 of them.
Yeah, but that would
And
be
I
hard
gave
to
them away
explain
to
community
people.
what is the use of the Litecoin, why it's so, what is its significance to put it on the vote, because it's not we decide to whitelist. We're trying to engage with a I wouldn't say community, we engage with Zana holders, because in Zana we believe that Zana holders have to have saying in decision-making process, because community is tricky. It's community, you never know, like there is a vocal people who maybe have not much stake in the game, and we want to just give the saying to people who actually own Zana. So that's why it's we still kind of control what is going on proposal. That's the way it works now.
Yeah, so do you imagine a more decentralized way of deciding which assets are going to get whitelisted, or do you think it's better to just let people manually whitelist what they think is legit?
First of all, it's applicable only for Zano wallet that we in the scope Zano wallet. For example, Cake wallet can use their own whitelist and can use their own process, and we actually talked with them, explained it how they can do their own whitelist. Edge wallet can do their own whitelist for Zano by default, or have their own process how they whitelisting. Bitcoin.com wallet, they can do their own wallet. So yeah, that's applicable only for the Zano wallets itself, and we use this as a voting proposed by team. We can consider something more decentralized in the future. Why not? I don't have right now anything from top of my head that can be more decentralized and still secured against some hijacking of or introducing fake assets or something.
Yeah, I would like to highlight that it's not on a blockchain level, because on a blockchain level, all assets are like the same. There is no good assets or bad assets. It just processes in an anonymous way and when it's transferring. So the stuff we are discussing right now is how to show them in the user application, a user interface, and whatever service, whatever wallet is doing it, it can do it in its own way.
Do you think you could potentially maintain a list, like a community list of assets which were issued, and people can just whitelist what they find on that list?
It would be really risky because people, if someone will introduce fake stable coin and will go scam people, that's why we trying to secure this against potential frauds. We will have the more traction Zano will get, the more it will be used, the more attempts to scam we will have. So that's the main reason why we would be having the whitelist, and the process of custom whitelisting is quite like we have to make sure the user understand what he does. And when we were trying to come up with a process how we do it, we were looking into how the practice works in, for example, in Ethereum, in MetaMask wallet or some other wallet. So that's what we used as an example how we're gonna operate this, at least at this time. I mean, we don't mind about decentralization at all. We actually ourselves don't even want to do this whitelisting ourselves. The only thing we care about is to not get into whitelist some malicious tokens. That's it. That's what we care about at all. We don't charge for getting, we never charge anyone for getting into whitelist. Just this works just as a protection of the users.
Okay, so you mentioned something about potentially having scammy stablecoins getting issued that will rug users. How do you know that FUSD, the freedom dollar, is not a scam?
We established quite good connection with the team. And we've been seeing that they put a lot of effort on actually listing this project. They spend a lot of money on getting Freedom Dollar listed on many exchanges. They maintain transparent wallet that shows that there is a how do you call it, in the custody, the backing by native coin, and we see this as enough effort to consider it as a legitimate enough in the given circumstances, legitimate enough for Zano to be seen as a legitimate stable coin. Of course, we cannot guarantee anything about this, but that's kind of our opinion also, and that the reason we brought it to voting, and also opinion of the community that it was to be in the whitelisting.
Yeah, the reason why I might be concerned is that they started out with this 10x peg. Basically, they were holding 10x the dollar amount of Zano, and this peg gradually lowered. And right now, let me take a look on their website. It says right here how much of it they're holding. So the point is to be over collateralized, and now they're only 1.54x over collateralized. So that's like 50% more than what their supply is in dollars.
Yeah,
And they started from like
true.
10x.
Still over collateralized.
That's because they deposited, I believe, initial 100,000 Zano at the start. Something like that, 10,000, 100,000 Zano, and there was only 100,000 FUSD minted at that time. So I think that's why the over collateralization level started off so high. Of course, anyone can have their own opinions about how over collateralized it should be. Higher is always better, of course, but I do think that the fact that they are transparent about their collateralization level and also the fact that they stake it, which contributes to network security, but also improves their overall holdings, is beneficial for Freedom Dollar.
The reason why I'm asking you about it is that I don't know who is their development team. I don't know who I should talk to get on my show to ask more questions. I just know that someone from a wallet, which I'm not gonna name because this was like a private conversation, told me that they're a bit concerned about this and it sounds shady. And they're listing it on their wallet, so it's one of the mobile wallets that actually supports FUSD and Zano, and he was like, wait a second, this doesn't sound right.
It's you said it's another wallet that listing Zana and considering listing Freedom Dollar.
No, they already have it.
Okay.
Both.
And they concerned about Freedom Dollar reliability, right?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, it's a healthy concern to have, and they have to address it with all level of let's say responsibility that they of the standard that they have in this wallet. So I would suggest to take it very serious and do the due diligence sorry to see how the reliable assets and if they are put it in the whitelist, so that it's their decision, I think. But it's very healthy approach actually to see what are this, how it works behind this, what is behind this, how stable it is, what are the chances that the owner will walk away with all the backed asset. That's a very fair concern. I agree with this.
Yeah, I'm looking at their website right now. They don't list any dev team or whatever. I don't know how you're supposed to contact them. But I'm, in principle, not a huge fan of stablecoins. I understand that this is a big use case of having tokens, and it's cool that basically you can have a stablecoin which supposedly or hopefully is gonna always be worth $1, which you can transfer privately, having basically the same privacy primitives of the protocol that backs the Zano network. It's just that there are lots of questions about the reserves, about the policy, and the way in which this is handled. If I understand this correctly, for every dollar that gets minted, they have to buy more Zano, so it's supposedly very good for the price of the asset.
I guess. But I mean, this is a very healthy questions, and we on our side also thinking how any stable coin that was born was raised created on Zana side, how we can improve transparency and how we can improve reliability of the stable coin, so people can see that how it's backed, how it's operated, what are the like machinery behind this. Can you hear me? Because I was saying.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I just got the
Okay.
magazine because there's an article in this one from more than a year ago about the future plans for Zano, and I just want to check it out. Mr. Quibs wrote it, yeah. Oh, you're raising your hand because you want to talk?
No, it's on the wall here. Look, that's why I was pointing towards it.
Yeah, sorry. So I just want to look here because you have a description of what's next with the Zano network, and I just want to see to which extent you guys followed up with your promises. Just ignore. Okay, I found it. So you have some mentions of how does Zano achieve privacy. For the people who are curious, you can actually download this PDF for free. It's on bitcoin-takeover.com/privacymag. You type that in your browser and you can access the free PDF. I do remember there was a mention of the bridged assets. I just need to find it.
But it's different, you know that, right? So the bridged assets are quite transparent about actual custody assets. You can see, so as much as assets bridged and wrapped inside Zana, you can see how much are held in the custody of the bridge. It's a little bit different that we speak about Freedom Dollar right now.
Yeah. It says here, so it's the article that was written, if I'm not mistaken, by Mr. Quibs himself. It says Zano team, but I think it was him who sent it to me. It says to reiterate.
Credits go to Gonzalo, not me, but
okay.
Gonzalo.
So I gotta give him credit now. To an outside observer, whether it's Zano itself, ZETH, ZBTC, ZUSD, or any other Zano confidential asset, it's simply impossible to determine which specific assets are involved in a transaction. With regard to transaction analysis, they're completely distinguishable. The token identifying information is blinded with commitments in the same way as transaction amounts are. Each new asset contributes to the same anonymity set. That's not a thing to glance over. Could you imagine a pool of privacy as big as ERC20 itself? So this is basically what's written about Zano at page, I'm going to tell you the page number 56 for those who want to read. It's interesting because you guys foresaw that you're going to have ZETH, which is the Zano tokenized Ethereum, Zano tokenized BTC, and Zano USD. It was here from, I think this was November of 2024.
But we don't have a Zano USD, as far as I know. It's not tokenized inside Zano. We have a Freedom Dollar that is not bridged from outer world. It's created inside, originated in Zano, which is different story, and that's why it's way more complicated, and that's why there is a reasonable questions to this. Quinton.
Yeah. What was written there was this was written at the time that it was all just still a concept, right? Confidential assets weren't like live on the mainnet, I believe, or they just became live on mainnet. So we already understood that people could use this technology to wrap BTC, maybe stable coins or ETH. So that's why it says ZBTC or ZETH. Well, now there is confidential layer who they named it BTCX and ETHX instead of this name. But also the fact about that all these confidential assets share the same pool for the anonymity set is correct, right? I mean, I think that's a really cool concept. There are some other projects, I believe, that also have confidential assets, but the pools for the tokens are like separate from each other. So then that, of course, hurts the privacy. So I think that's a really cool fact about Zano's confidential asset design that probably should be, getting more spotlight.
I mean, you sort of envisioned that this was going to happen. It's just that there was no confidential layer at the time. And on the topic of confidential layer, I did notice that Andrew Tate tweeted about it. I thought it was very odd. Like, of all the things I could read from Andrew Tate, he says, your government is tracking your transactions. AI can be used for blockchain analysis. Reclaim your privacy. Use confidential layer. I was like, it sounds so much like an ad. You guys made it.
Not. We didn't make it. Someone did, but we have nothing to do with this. I can promise you this 100%. Zano team has nothing to do with this. I completely.
But what is the
guarantee you this.
relationship between Zano team and Confidential Layer?
We work together because it's mutually beneficial what we're building. When we help them from a technical perspective, but they have a different team working on the Bridges project and different background. They build it on the Cosmos chain. We help to make it just consistent from the terms of technology, and we are interested in this because it's the project that will bring real tokens from real world into Zano universe. So that's our motivation to help them and to work together.
Can you explain how their bridge works?
How the bridge works?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to explain this? Because I think
MPC part, you mean?
I don't know, the high level or the math level, like
High
low
level, I think I covered so that we have confidential assets on support, and we have external servers that can connect and can send the transactions through the API. And then on the bridge side, there's a technology called MPC that can allow us to share the responsibility of owning the private key that actually controls the asset that was made in Zano among many participants, so to reduce the risks. So this was a highlight that I made. You can go deeper if you want.
MPC stands for multi-party computation.
Yes, it's multi-party secure computation. It's a technology that are necessary to actually split your private key. Imagine you have a private key that controls your asset you made. So, for instance, when Bytecoin on Zano have a private key that controls all the emission and all the stuff. So now, if we are talking about the like serious multi-billion projects, we need to mitigate the risks, and we need some way to spread this private key ownership among many participants. MPC is a technology that allows to do this. So no one of many participants who are actually involved in this network actually have the whole private key, and at no point at time this private key get assembled together and exists in as a real thing. So some malicious actor or malware can copy it and then use it. So it's just non-existent because of the math, and this very complicated math that use all this multi-party computation to by the end make a signature that looks like it was made by this private key and can be verified in very easy way by everyone. For instance, in the Zano network, each node can verify it extremely easy, just a Schnorr signature. So like or similar thing, ACDSA. So that is why this technology is important. It is very interesting way how it implemented.
I can add a little bit context of high level picture of this. So Bridgeless is L1 itself. It's built on Cosmos blockchain tool chain that exists for whoever is trying to quickly build blockchain. It's not private. It's L1, and Cosmos has a lot of machinery for building very customly developed blockchains for these specific goals. And Bridge itself is L1 that has its own token and its own validators, and its validators are also they sell it for the some amount of tokens. And these people who bought these tokens and became validators, they became part of this MPC calculation, they became part of this threshold signature generation. And they all together collectively share these pieces of secret key that control the custody of whatever is custodied of this bridge. Whatever is bridged from one chain to another are held between all these validators who invested in buying these chunks of token. And they become also part of TSS signature, some of them, as far as I know. And they have a tokenomics, they have a profit share model that makes this whole thing profitable. And basically, this is how it works. It's another L1 that connects other L1s and makes secure transaction between them.
Right, so someone using Bitcoin or Ethereum sending their coins into the confidential layer contract address, how can they be sure that they're going to receive the tokenized asset on Zano? Is there any mechanism for them to verify?
Be sure to verify if they, I mean, look into this. There's a set of open source software that guarantee that this is going to happen. So, I mean, theoretically, if I'm the one who is trying to do this, I'm trying to send Bitcoins and want to make sure that it's going to work. I go to the open source, see, okay, this looks legit, maybe even launch my own network, see how it works, and then I send because I believe software is good enough. They have also peer review of, someone did the peer review of the technology that they have and confirmed that it's a legitimate technology. But it's, anyway, it's open source, so how you know that when you send Zana, it will arrive at some point to the other address? You just see it's open source project and see what other people say, trust opinion leaders, or look in yourself into the code
bridges
base.
are different. Like using an L1, you know that the network is going to do what it's supposed to do. But using a network to basically bridge an asset into another network, I think there's a degree of trust that's required.
No. That's the same. No, it's not a matter of trust. It's a rules. It's a network rules. The way it works, it's encoded in the consensus of bridgeless. They cannot break it and ignore deposits. Okay, this one we will not transact. We will ignore it. As far as I know, I mean, I'm not the building, but that if it's not built this way, I mean, it's probably not really. It's something that space for improvement. But the way I understand the bridge, they see the work as a state machine without like options. They have to transact the way other blockchain brought these assets to them. That's my understanding of how the bridge works. I believe every bridge is supposed to work this way. It's not optional. It's just like a core rule of how it's operate.
Can you imagine a better way to bridge assets into Zano, which is different from what Confidential Air is doing?
Bridge into Zana is actually not that big of a problem. It's we already quite happy with what we have with a bridgeless. I mean, we specifically did this plug for this, so it works pretty much good. So whatever assets supposed to be bridged, for example, bridgeless, if it wants to bridge some assets into Zana, it creates a wrapped asset on Zana side, basically creating its own asset descriptor. And as more coins coming, it means these coins. And if the coins are going back, they burn it. So it's quite trivial on a high level, and it's good enough. It's really good. It's really good for the bridging, what we have. Bridging outside of Zana for the token that created inside Zana is more tricky, and it's less convenient, less. It has less. It has more side effects, I would say. But for the bridging, I think it's pretty good right now. The only potential problems we have as Zano is a slower blockchain compared to the modern EVM blockchains or Solana blockchains. I'm not talking about Bitcoin at all. We don't consider it a real blockchain. It's a store of value, but Zano is a little bit slower, so you have to wait more for confirmation time. But it's just a nature of the privacy coins. We are slow by nature, at least now. Maybe in the future we will fix it, hopefully.
I've heard some people, and I might be responsible for that myself, comparing Zano to Ethereum and saying that Zano is sort of like the Ethereum of the privacy coin space. Would you say
It's not
that?
far from true.
Okay.
It's not far from true. We're trying to, I was saying it before. I think we have the same goals as Ethereum have, probably, to build useful tools. And Ethereum now, as you can see from the latest statements of Vitalik, they also aim to the privacy. So I think we're going to the same point in the future, but Ethereum will come from this EVM, super flexible but very transparent network, to some degree of privacy in the future and some degree of functionality there. And we will come from a privacy with a smaller level of functionality to a better level of functionality. But we go to the same direction. We want to build tools that will be really reliable, quick, and useful for the real world.
Assuming that you're going to have a lot of Bitcoin users bridging their BTC into Zano, how much throughput can the Zano network handle and the confidential layer bridge?
The bridge can handle, I believe the bridge, they have also bottlenecks related to TSS signature, because it's not that easy to scale it. They're working right now on the integrating Merkle tree into the sign operation, as far as I know. Zana is a kind of slow right now. I have to be honest with this. And even new consensus where we're going to have it and the way we expect it, it's going to be way faster blocks. We will have a block every 15 seconds likely, and it's going to have a really quick confirmation time, really with a high guarantees close to finality in less than a minute. But the TPS itself won't become better because the transaction processing time is still a bottleneck, and because of the nature of the privacy technology, it's compared to other blockchains, it's relatively slow. So yeah, we are slow, unfortunately.
Do you think that transitioning to proof of stake is going to make the network any faster?
It depends what you call by network, because there is a wide range of ideas what is fast network. We'll have a fast confirmation time. That's what we aim for with the new proof of stake. It's going to be absolutely winning side, but it doesn't mean that we will have more transactions going through the seconds on the network. We'll have also better situation with the handling spike of transactions, because every block will be going more often. We'll reduce a little bit the payload of the block. We'll reduce the number of transactions every block hold, because we have to reduce the latency problems in the network with more often blocks coming. But overall, it will be nearly the same TPS, maybe a little bit better, and it will handle spikes way better. But on the a global aspect, TPS will be the same, but the confirmation time will be way faster.
Do you know how much faster?
Yeah, I think my projection is we'll have with a block every estimate 15 seconds. And with this new consensus, it's going to be very strong guarantees after 3 or 5 blocks already. You will have so much confidence that the transaction never going to be reordered or the blocks will not be reordered. So you can consider it, confirm it after 1 or 2 minutes. And that's why we want to like make it the same as modern proof of stake blockchain works. That's basically the reason why we are doing proof of stake, because to make it work like people used to, like the best networks in the industry handle transactions. That's what we're trying to do.
It does sound a lot like Ethereum right now, to be honest. 15 seconds, 3 blocks, and it's a permanent transaction.
Not only Ethereum, a lot
proof
of networks, a lot of the best networks works this way. If you can see that what people actually use for the everyday transactions, they use those networks that final really quick, because it's just userful.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Zano has been around for as long as my podcast, pretty much. You guys launched in 2019. I also started in 2019, so about 7 years old. Where do you see this project in another 7 years, given the amount of research that you've done and the knowledge that you've acquired over the years? Or do you think Zano will still be around in 7 years? That's another question.
I hope it will be around. I mean, everything can happen. I actually hate this type of questions, because if someone would ask me back in 2019 where you see Zano, I wouldn't be able to see the projections that we went right now. And I think we did above my expectations, actually. I wouldn't be that optimistic back in 2019. And I just see that we'll be doing our best to just deliver our vision or something that is really good and do the best project we can do. Probably Quinton have something to say about this.
Yeah, well, I wanted to add that you're always very honest, and that's great. But I mean, we cannot predict the future, right? But at least the project is in a way better shape and state than it was a couple of years ago. So if we go continue that way, I definitely see us still around in 7 years. Also, the plans that Andrey and Pavel and Val have, I actually doubt that they would actually be able to release all of that in the next 7 years. So also, in terms of the amount of work, I think they need at least 10 more years. So
yeah, we screw up deadlines often. That's true. That's a fair point.
Okay, but the final form of Zano and the way that you envision it is going to have full chain membership proofs, which gives the sender much better privacy. Right now, you have the ring signature.
I see. Yeah, I got the question. So
how many decoys do you have in the ring signatures? Is it also 16?
15 decoys. So and ring size is 16. Yeah.
I think the strategic goals is to solve the problem of TPS. That's the biggest problem for the most privacy blockchain, and scaling this, I don't believe we will be able to minimize. I don't believe we will be able to significantly decrease the time of processing of transaction, because likely it's not going to happen, but probably it's going to be the way we can scale or do some sort of sharding or introduce some sort of parallelization that can take or do something else, because this is problem number one. We know how to improve the privacy. We see the direction. We know how to improve the consensus. We see the direction. We actually have a pretty good technology already at our hand. We have actually even 2 technologies for this, as I can leak a little bit of secret about our research, and that's gonna be direction to improve TPS and introduce something like parallelization or sharding for the privacy, which is super challenging for privacy because it's not that hard for the pseudonymous blockchains like Ethereum or Solana or Ton network, but for privacy, it's a lot of problems.
Yeah, I would like to add that fast network and huge TPS, it's as we see, it's nowadays it's often requires be extremely open and sometimes very strong hardware requirements and sometimes very strong limitations on the transaction size. For instance, matching the transaction to the size of the Ethernet block and so on. So this is all these things is extreme optimization, and I would render like if you ask me about the how I see the future, I would answer from only technology perspective, and to me, this full chain membership proof will uh, will be necessary for privacy to bring up to the level when you like don't care about this anymore because problem solved and nothing left behind this. And also, I think that after achieving these goals with poor proof of stake and Ultra membership proof implementation and gateway addresses with anonymous version of them that is convenient for services to use, and they aligns well with the privacy nature of the rest of the project. I think that next topic to look at will probably be quantum resistance because we don't know what is the future. No one's know, but this maybe in next few years we will know more about this and how likelihood maybe it will be um, more clarity on this topic. But from that perspective, what we can do now is take an approach to mitigate harvest now, analyze later, because this is a huge topic actually, and all the data that is circulating on the network on the internet right now could be stored and then be broken using a quantum computer in the far future, for instance. And I think that after all these mentioned milestones, perhaps we will be looking at this thing and also at the optimization and maybe extreme optimizations to achieve high TPS and sharding, as Andrew said. So that's my perception.
Actually, I forgot to mention the elephant in the room. Quantum computers is a really
I was gonna
big
get to
thing.
that, but thank you. Keep going.
That's the difference. Wal is a cryptographer. He knows the weakening points. No, that's it. I don't have any comments. Wal commented on this pretty much everything.
It seems to be a very trendy topic nowadays, even though I believe that actually threatening quantum computers are at least 10 years away. But people are trying to prepare for this in advance. We have these Winternet signatures and we have the Lamport ones, and there are a lot of in-between schemes, and the trade-off is always the size of the signatures. Like the amount
Sure.
of data that they're going to take into the blocks is going to be much larger, which means users are going to pay much higher fees per transaction, and the blocks are going to fill much faster. This is the price that we have to pay for quantum resistance, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to come up with something which is actually reasonable in terms of size.
I think there's some interesting findings will be on this field. And for instance, I would like to mention the Carrot address protocol that Monero developers are working right now. And it will be the part of the full chain membership of plus plus upgrade in the future. As far as I understand, I'm not maybe not up to the most recent changes because like we have so much task to do in Zano. But they have interesting approach with compound private key, spend private key in address that is actually a bit like from some perspective is a quantum resistant because if you have a private key, for instance, in a Cryptonote project, and you would like to no one knows it, but you have a public key that is shared within as a part of your public address. So the future quantum computer will be able, knowing your public address, actually find out the private key that belongs to this address, and having this private key, then analyze the whole blockchain and harvest all the necessary data. And they have a very interesting approach by splitting this spend pub key into two parts. And quantum computer, as far as I understand, it's not working that way. So because of the unlimited possibilities of how to summon, like how two keys can be added to each another to make a new pub key, because of these unlimited possibilities, it will be impossible even have a very smart quantum computer, very capable to break this. And I hope, because of this, I hope that when we start closer investigation of full chain membership proof support and reinvention on the Zano math on the Zirconium and confidential assets, we will be cover this topic as well. And maybe some little changes like this one will be helpful in order to perceive future secrecy of the network. So this is my perception. Definitely will go this way when we start actively developing this.
Um, I was thinking that there's a lot of competition in this field. I know that Zcash is also trying to do shielded assets, and Ethereum themselves are adding ZK snarks as a way to add privacy, which of course, adding privacy to something which has been public for many years is not going to be as strong, and opt-in privacy is not as strong as privacy by default, but they still provide something along the lines of what you're building. And I was going to ask you, do you believe that the tech stack that you're using is the optimal one? Or maybe that ZK snarks are better scalable? They're working on something that's called Tachyon right now, and they're going to have sort of like a client-side validation that makes it much more scalable than it currently is. Do you feel threatened by this? Would you be able to adapt your tech stack to include some of that? Or do you think that the way in which you're going, which is full chain membership proofs and Cryptonote and Zirconium, is the best way to go forward?
This is a very good question and very technical question. Actually, there is no definite answer to this question right now, but do believe that this approach that we are looking for, and like using full chain membership proof plus plus, because plus plus is a set of technologies actually, and a set of the optimizer technologies quite recent. ZK snarks are existing for quite a long time. This is very advanced technology, but it's quite bulky and heavy. And I think that I can answer definitely at that moment, but I think that for us, this approach with Zirconium and confidential assets and adapted and tailored full chain membership proof, that's very important, will be more beneficial. But I don't know. Maybe at some point I will change my mind and say that no, Zcash Snark are like better, and we will implement this technology, or we will use some part of this technology to make it to make better consensus and better technology for us in Zona.
Or will we saying that, oh, doesn't matter, our technology is better anyway, for marketing reasons, like many projects does. We're trying to not to do this, but this happens. Even if we see something is better, it's really hard to admit, oh, this project is better than us, but we still will be doing our thing. I think it would look bad. So
yeah, sometimes you have
yeah.
like technical reasons to keep your existing technology running because the price of the changing the whole technology stack and going to the whole other universe of technology is maybe higher than the benefit you get. So it's very complicated question, but like from what I see now, I believe that no, we will this we're choosing this approach for a reason, and I hope that we will find out that is a good way to do things. But yes, it's possible that I change my mind when during the extensive investigation and during the tailoring of blockchain membership proof. Yeah.
I also have a comment on the note that Vlad made about privacy by default, and that it's a problem as haven't been existed in Ethereum since the beginning. It's actually privacy is a very tricky thing, and my perspective, any blockchain that is give you privacy guarantees, you shouldn't take it as a granted forever. Privacy will be broken at some point in Monero, in every private blockchain, at some point in a few years, maybe in 10 years. Everything that they have now will be de-anonymized likely, one way or another. Or it's going to be better crypto algorithms or better stat analysis or exchanges that is poisoned a lot of Monero blockchain will be giving up one of the decoys, another decoys, another decoys, and then there's going to be less decoys left in the ring, in every ring. And with the time, privacy will be decreasing for all the records, for the one that was at the beginning. And I think the perception should be that the privacy is a temporary thing always, due to technology grow, due to evolution of the industry, a very rapid evolution of the industry, especially with the new AI tools. I think all cryptography that we use now these days, or the privacy tools that we use these days in the blockchain, because it stays forever in the blockchain, will be de-anonymized in the 10 or 15 years. So I think after all, at the end, we will be in the same position, privacy blockchain and some other blockchains. We have to keep this in mind.
I would disagree. I think that privacy things and privacy tech is a fast evolving field, and it's not always like catch and mouse game. And I believe that there exists encryption technology that is extremely hard to break, and will be extremely hard to break like indefinitely. And I think that, for instance, we in the past we have false assumptions about, for instance, MD5 hash that is unbreakable, but then like collision was found and now it's not secure and not used for secure purposes anymore. At some point, we believe that discrete logarithm problem on elliptic curve, for instance, Schnorr-based signature, are very secure. But in the future, quantum computers probably will be capable enough to break this. But I think that we will there will be area of technologies that will be secure enough, and we have it now. For instance, we have lattice based cryptography that is very secure and quantum resistant, absolutely. And even we have like XOR based encryption that is actually quantum resistant because it's proven that if your key and your ciphertext has the same size, so there you have a perfect encryption. So I believe that if you are paranoid and you follow the checklist very closely, you can actually get the privacy, but the cost of this maintaining this privacy may be too high for just for like random guy.
Can I ask why you believe it's never going to be broken? You said yourself that there was a hash functions, there was other algorithms that was believed to be secure, but then it was broken. And even there's an example that is not broken yet. Why you believe it won't be broken in future?
Well, because I believe in math. So, for instance, in math we have group theory, and group theory has looks at symmetry that actually naturally happens in the in nature in the groups, and they recently, it was like last 20 years, it was proven that all kind of symmetries that can happen in universe can be divided by a small set of I think 26 specific groups and no more, and these groups are not not natural. So it was very hard work for mathematicians to actually find them, and after that it was extremely hard work. It's thousands of papers of proofs that there's enough. So there's full stop. So the universe is no more complex than this. So, and this mind blowing actually, but this example of point when you can actually reach the infinity. So that's why I believe the same approach could be applied to some extent to cryptography.
I don't understand this. That's why I don't understand cryptography. Okay, I was looking into this from a very like user perspective as a person who used these tools, and I was just seeing that whatever is used is getting old, is not at some point not recommended to use and getting obsolete. So that's my I still believe it's going to be happening, and the progress will be improving. And I still believe I cannot explain it in a scientific language while making his point. I just have it experiencing this industry this way, and I think that's what going to be happening. At least what I was saying about rings in Monero. Rings will be de-anonymized anyway. In the old Monero transaction history, it will be de-anonymized one by one. With the time, it's like no question.
That's why they do care about the quantum
not even with quantum. I'm not even talking about quantum resistance.
Just by analysis, you mean?
Yeah, the more data they gain, the more exchanges give up the history of transaction, the more decoys they have de-anonymized. So the less decoys stay anonymous in the rings, and they will be doing this more and more.
Yeah,
Some
sure.
people will be sharing their wallets, opening their wallets, losing the keys, stolen wallets, more and more with the time. It will be happening more and more. At some point, it's going to be easy enough, and it's going to be just left few decoys in the set. It's going to be easy enough to run overall analysis and de-anonymize it all.
Yeah,
That's why I believe it's just temporary thing.
Yeah, but that's why full chain membership proof is actually a thing, because it solves this issue of like forever. You don't even have rings anymore. So I think, yeah, I agree, because I'm also talking not from scientific perspective. I'm talking from like how I feels it. I just feels it differently because of different background. I try to explain it, and you feels it different because of your background and what things you see. So this just how we feels it, because yeah, for sure it's very complicated.
I'm actually happy we had this conversation. And the reason why I asked the question about the tech stack is that basically, in the case of Bitcoin, I do like to believe that Bitcoin is an idea more than it is a specific network or technology. And at some point in the future, we can agree that this implementation in particular failed. And we're going to move the UTXO set that keeps basically the ownership of all the coin users to another network which is more robust. And even though it's a controversial idea to present today, I do believe that Bitcoin is going to transcend its current home, to put it like this. And in the case of Zano and other networks, there are a lot of these situations where the developers are basically married to the technology. And they say the project will live or die with this particular technology that we're using. If it succeeds, then we're going to win big time. If it fails, well, it's just another experiment. And I was curious if you believe that Zano is an idea or is one specific technical implementation on which you're working. So that's why I've asked the question about other competitors doing something similar, trying to reach the same result, and whether or not you would be open to adapting to new market conditions or new technological landscapes.
As far as I know, what I hear that actually Zcash is trying to implement proof of stake and also trying to implement confidential assets. And I think this idea has been around in the industry, but I'm not sure I got the question right because there was interrupting at some point, and I'm not sure. Can you rephrase what are the question is about Zana?
Right, so is Zano an idea, basically something that you are trying to achieve, but it doesn't matter how? So along the way, you can make very drastic changes to the technology, or is it just a continuation of the Cryptonote protocol and will live and die with Cryptonote?
No, of course no. No. I mean, it may happen. We can found ourselves in this situation because, I mean, it's quite. You find yourself in a struggle, and you don't want to easily give up on something that you've been doing for a long time. And I hope we won't be caught in the situation when we have to give up Cryptonote as our like a base, very fundamental technology. But if we'll face the situation, no, Zana itself is not married. Zana is not Cryptonote evolution. If you ask this way, Zana is a group of individuals with common goals, with a common vision, and with different backgrounds. We all, the people behind Zana, we all have a different backgrounds, and we actually can build this project only when we are consolidate around this project together. None of us would be able to do it alone. So Zana is a group of individuals who are like-minded, and we're trying to build a great tool for the industry. But we're not married to specific technology. We use technology. We see technology as a tool to achieve something, to build something that we think will be useful, helpful. We'll find some support. This is my answer.
Yeah, I think that the story for our project and the history of the technical decision that we made shows that because we we started from a Cryptonote base, and then we added lots of things that goes new technology, and we experimented a lot. And at some point, we believe that like escrow on the blockchain is like good idea, and we need to put lots of effort on this. But then we decided otherwise that confidential assets interesting idea, and we implemented this. So we are in a constant search, and we are looking for how we can make it efficiently and secure. So yeah, so no, not a Cryptonote evolution, because Cryptonote is very quite simple idea from the as I see it now, because now things are so much complicated. So Cryptonote white paper looks like it's very, very nice, tiny and easy, but very important piece, like historically. But now things that we are actually doing is much more complicated.
I actually want to remind that back in 2015, proof of stake, whole Cryptonote thing was anti-proof of stake. The whole Cryptonote thing was a proof of work maxi, and the whole this domain of privacy blockchain was a maxi. And even back there, we were flexible enough to look around and see how we can improve it and take something that was very unnatural for a privacy-focused blockchain back there. So I think we'll have this flexibility with years, and we'll be able to we'll be able to take the best that exists in the science, or create the best in existing science to just deliver the best product we can do.
That's a good answer, and I'm really hopeful. So if you were to tell Zano holders why they should be bullish about Zano, what's your short answer? What is it that should get people excited?
Be smart about your investments. Don't do risky investments. Do your research.
No, but they already did that, right? Like the people who hold Zano already, and they don't want to sell. They want hope for the future or something.
I will be for now. I will tell you that Zano is switching from hybrid consensus to pure proof of stake, which means that proof of work part of the emission. Which means that proof of work part of the emission will be gone. We don't know what we're gonna do with this yet, but Zano will have at some point Zano will have twice less coins dropped on the market every day as it does these days. Every day, proof of work generate 740 coins. Proof of work miners drop these coins immediately on the market. There is a pressure on the market. We calculated every month to support Zano price, to maintain their price, someone have to buy $200,000 to $300,000 worth of Zano from the market. And at some point, proof of work is gone. Proof of stake miners, stakers, they don't drop coins in this fashion. So I think this is very practical thing that the pressure will be removed as soon as we deploy pure proof of stake. So this is very straightforward argument about Zano comes from just a tokenomic perspective. I don't know about future. I don't know. And again, we realize that, I mean, at least at this point, we suck at marketing. We better in building technology, but we'll try to learn this part as well. And we don't know how things will turn out for Zano in terms of appreciation of the price, awareness about the project, perception of the project. We don't know this. This is the major thing that influence the price. And often people doesn't even care much about technology. People care about, okay, those people are invested in Zano, public people, or those people invest in some project. I will invest too because it's going to be pumped at some point, blah, blah, blah. So we cannot control these things. We cannot even influence much of these things. We are just building technology, and that from that perspective, I cannot tell you. I don't know. I never understood the way market works. I never understood the price works. So that's my only comment on this. Quinton.
My TLDR would be
Yeah.
that Zano adapts really quickly to whatever tech is best, right? We're not married to some kind of technology. And on top of that, we have some major catalysts coming, like hard fork 6 and 7, which are going to be breakthroughs for the project once again. And what you can also say is that Zano is still very early, right? If you compare it to Monero or Zcash and you look at their respective market caps and you look at Zano's market cap, I think there is a juicy potential there. So that would be my answer to why should someone look into potentially investing in Zano. That was not financial advice.
No, it was not financial advice. I'm not recommending anyone to buy Zano right now. If you can and you have some GPUs, you can mine it still, even if you guys don't like miners. That's still part of the network security, and that's a fair way to get some coins, get your hands on them without actually influencing the market price. I think that's an interesting approach. And I'm actually very interested to see how this is going to evolve, because I might have said during the Tyler Spalding interview, which is the previous one, that Zano is a fork of Monero, which is wrong, and I'm sorry for that, but there are some technological similarities, but also some philosophical differences. I don't think, I mean, it was part of a conversation last summer that Monero might switch to proof of stake because they were under attack at one point. But right now, it's not a serious conversation that they're having. And you guys are sort of leading the way in this direction, and you're also focusing on tokens. You're trying to build basically a base layer which is optimized for the creation of tokens that have privacy, and is trying to enable other use cases like building stable coins or bridging other assets onto Zano, which I think can be beneficial both for privacy and for scalability for other projects to move to a network which gives privacy and also has a different throughput and a different kind of trade-offs, because you're not gonna get anything perfect in this world. And I do appreciate that you're builders. I do appreciate that you guys have this Eastern European honesty or realism where it's very hard for yourselves to say something nice. Like, I feel like if I interviewed a bunch of American developers, they would be like, yeah, we're building the best stuff ever by our token. Not financial advice, but by our token. This is what they would say all the time. And I also appreciate your time, because you're very patient with this. I was like 30 minutes late with starting the live stream, but everything went fine. And I also want to thank you, Mr. Quibbs, for joining in. What are the conclusions of this interview? Like, what should people look forward to when it comes to Zano?
Should I take it?
Somebody help.
You were quiet for quite a while. No, I mean, I think I said it earlier, right? Hard fork 6 and 7 are, in my opinion, like I personally look really forward to what those will bring to the table for Zano. So yeah, I'm personally really looking forward to that, and there's all reason to be excited about that, and especially hard fork 7 with the proof of stake upgrade. I think it is probably the most exciting upgrade that Zano has had since the Zarkanum upgrade. And there was a lot of hype around that and a lot of buzz around that. And I'll do everything I can to bring that that sentiment back to Zano with Hard Fork 7. So yeah.
I would say that just I would like to thank you, thank you a lot for inviting us and for making this interview. And I would like to thank you, thank all the people who care about the technology and just not just looking for another pump and dump coins or but looking into what teams are trying to do and following teams and being supportive. I know that this kind of people like exist and in every project. And I would like to thank you, not only the people who are Zano supporters, but I would like to thank you all the people who just care about the technology. I think that it's really nice, and technology will win eventually.
I mean, let me show off my gold chain and say I'm in this for the technology. Anyway, I also promised that. So I had this secret conversation with Zoidberg, with Andrey, before we started, and it turned out that Val was the silent one. So I promised I was gonna ask a specific question for him, so he doesn't feel like he just sits through the interview and doesn't say much. So I promised I was gonna ask you, who are your favorite cryptographers or mathematicians?
Wow. That's a bunch of people. I have to say, so it's very difficult to pick one. I guess I don't know. I think that we like every project that we in this field in Cryptonote based extensively used person commitment, and it was invented back in, I think, 1985 or so, and I think that this invention was very insightful and meaningful for all the things that we have now. But there's a bunch of people that involved in this area, so I don't know. That's difficult.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
you like
difficult.
Peterson, and how about you name 3 people? Just 2 more.
Oh,
David Chom, are you a fan?
let me
Rolf Merkel.
Rolf Malkel, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
What about Bernstein?
That's a very good. Yes, that's a very good option. I think. Yeah, I think Bernstein, the person who is behind elliptic curve, that ED.
I think Daniel Bernstein.
Daniel Bernstein, yes, and 25519, and one of the advancement that his team actually achieved is making very fast elliptic curve, so we can now afford all these beautiful technology, because back in the days elliptic curve cryptography was quite slow and less people was interested in that, and this person and his team actually make it possible to run slow CPUs, and it was a huge turning point, and I think it was actually one of the reason it was chosen for Cryptonote. I'm not sure because I wasn't around at that
Yes,
point, but I think it was one of the reason, and
I think
it has huge impact on crypto nowadays.
I think Cryptonote was the first blockchain project who switched to this elliptic curve and used it. Was no one ever using this before, and I remember we were looking into his libraries and basically took the parts of the library of his, and I think someone even contacted him and asked if he don't mind if we take the part of his library. He said he don't care, do whatever you want, as it was open source. But yeah, I think we were the first who started to use. Then also Solana used this elliptic curve.
Yeah, and I also I cannot skip to mention Andrew Pelstra and Gregory Maxwell, because idea of confidential assets that we actually implemented and we have now in Zano was proposed by these people back in 2017, I guess, for Bitcoin, So it's like huge impact also on our life, on our project.
I think Gregory Maxwell proposed this back in 2014.
Yeah, maybe
he already been saying about this. I know it because I have I had a quick conversation with him on Bitcoin.com. Conversation that I'm ashamed of, kind of.
Bitcoin talk.
Bitcoin talk, yeah. Or
I just know that
he was the one who was messaging and said, "Hey guys, you can make a hidden amounts."
Yeah, I just saying that they published the paper in 2017, but yeah, obviously the idea was circulating a few years before. Yeah.
And they actually pulled it off with Liquid, which is a federation and not a proper sidechain like they promised. And I don't think anyone's using that. So I think you guys have more users than Liquid.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, that it was mentioned that it was work for Liquid, kind of linked with it.
What do you guys think about Liam Egan, creator of Bulletproofs Plus Plus? Are you a fan?
I think we met him in
person, yeah, one time.
He's a nice person.
He was on my podcast like 3 times. I'm a big fan myself.
Yeah, he's extremely talented cryptographer, and the Bulletproofs Plus Plus is a very promising technology, and like this is just is very, very, very good. And they have a internal support for assets in the inside, so that's very interesting. And I hope I think I need to view your podcasts with him, because this sounds interesting to me.
What about Fluffy Pony? Are you guys friends? Do you send him birthday cards every year?
Maybe you?
I never met him. No. I mean, I doesn't even know what he's up for recently. And we had a quite... I probably we both were quite childish back in this time. I don't know what he's up to, what his vision of what's happening now. I doesn't know. I don't know much about this. Is he still around?
He's commenting on stuff. He seems to be focused on hating Zcash nowadays, but yeah. He gave up on the leading role of maintaining the Monero project a few years ago, and ever since he's only commenting. I think it's his friend who created Wownero, John, whatever his last name is, who's the most vicious and active hater of Zano.
Yeah.
But he's basically saying what Fluffy Pony was saying before him, so there's not much difference.
I'm really surprised on how much time he spent on writing about Zana. I don't know, is it? It's probably a full-time job, or
you mean Fluffy Pony or the Wownero guy?
No, the Wownero. I don't know about Fluffy Pony much, honestly. But Wownero guy, someone showed me that he's like spent like working full time, hating Zana, and I was like, why he bother that much about our project? That's so fascinating to see the guy obsessed with other project. That's really weird stuff.
I mean, the guy's running a meme coin and he spends time calling others scammers. And I'm like, oh, man, you're having a very hard time looking legit right now because your project is a joke by design.
But I think that's what he does. Probably he's funded by someone to run. He's doing this, like he's creating noise, created hated messages. That's probably a job, I think. I cannot imagine he hate us himself that much. And it would be really sick if he just hate us and spend all the time.
I mean, you'd be surprised how
Probably
much of this industry is just fueled by pure personal vitriol, like just hating someone or something so much and wanting to be right that you don't care how you're going to be right. You hope you're just going to convince everyone else that you're right, even if you're technically not.
But isn't your kind of promoting Zano by hating it that much, just giving it more publicity?
I mean,
Even
that's
though
the
it sounds
Streisand
negative,
effect.
but
I can agree that it does promote Zano, but you have a lot of people in the Monero community who irrationally hate Zano. Like, they never tried it, they never sent a transaction, they never actually interacted with anyone from the community, but they hate Zano. And to me, it's a mystery. Like, why? I understand why some Bitcoiners were hating on Ethereum, but I don't really understand why Monero people are hating on Zano.
well, I think it's
Well,
it's irrelevant anymore because everybody knows about Zano in community. Some people hate it, some people like it, some people neutral. But it's okay. We are not married to Monero community, and I'm not trying to convince them necessary to like us. We don't care much at this point.
we also have a lot of overlap still. It's not all just haters. I mean, I know plenty of people that are Monero community members and Zano community members. So it's just a few maxis, right? You have maxis everywhere, and I don't think it sticks just to Zano alone. Like, I've never heard the Monero maxis talk positive about anything else other than Monero. So I don't think that's like a Zano specific issue. Maybe they spend more time to Zano because I don't know, it's Cryptonote based as well and it's growing. I don't know, but who cares?
I do have to ask you, since you're here, Andrey, because you have more knowledge on the matter. There are a lot of people who honestly believe that Fluffy Pony created Monero. Is that true?
No, created in a which way? He put a lot of effort in the very early days to make Monero visible project. He was doing a lot of like I don't know, marketing awareness, creating awareness, and building the network. As far as I know, in this from this perspective, or technically create. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe that he is Nicholas von Sieberhagen, or maybe that he is thankful for today, or someone who was involved
no,
directly.
I don't see. No, he was just the guy who was around by this time. We have another guy who was trying to work with us back a few years ago. He hated Ricardo for some reason. He was telling us some stories about him, but I don't think it's relevant. Ricardo is the person who was around, saw the potential of the project, and was trying to. He built a name on top of this project. I think he built his name and awareness, but technically no. It was there was a bunch of people, and there was a few people actually at the very early days of the first year of Monero who are not around anymore. There was a guy named Otha, German guy. There was some other people, and those people actually were helping me as well as early days of Boolberry. They got listed Boolberry on Poloniex. They got listed Boolberry on another exchange. They got hired someone to build a pool, mining pool for Boolberry, which was actually hard, but someone managed to do. So there was a group of people who were actually behind Monero, but they were actually helping me as well. Some of the people actually. But then I don't know what happened. Those people are just disappeared and say they don't want to be around anymore. I was talking with a guy, a German guy named Otha, but he disappeared. I don't know where he is now. And Ricardo was one of them, one of this group of the people who were around them. And I think the thing is, Ricardo was not tried to be private. He became like open, started to speak openly, like visited conference, and the other people were tried to stay private. not as anonymous persons. Probably that's one of the reasons Ricardo built his name and awareness, because he was openly supporting Monero project and was traveling, as far as I know, was participating in the events.
I mean, I don't blame the people who were there in the first year of Monero and disappeared, because about 37%, which means like 7 million coins almost, were mined in the first year of the network's existence. So they most likely got super rich with something that's supposed to be private. And they're just waiting for the market to have enough liquidity for them to be able to exit or actually use it for something meaningful. And to be honest, like Monero right now reached a new all-time high, the first one since 2018 or something, which says something about the destiny of the project and the fact that it does have staying power. But I think this is mostly a DeFi success story. The reason,
well, they're doing great job on improving technology. We have to give them this. They are building. First of all, they are really truly community-driven project, decentralized, way better than many other projects from my perspective. I maybe don't know everything, and I'm not really following a lot of things that happens in Monero. But from my perspective, the way I see it, it's have a very, and it's not easy to run the project like this in a decentralized way, in a donation based. And they're making a lot of work. They doing a lot of research. They attract, because it's the biggest name in the privacy, when it comes to privacy blockchains, it's immediate. Let's say it with Monero, it attracts a lot of people, a lot of talent, and it works like a magnet that attracts a lot of talented people, and that people that try to contribute and make a better technology. And it's a great project. And when we speak about history and some clashes and tribal conflicts in the past, it doesn't mean that I don't like Monero the way it works now. Even there is a people who are toxic or people who are attacking us, it doesn't mean the project is doesn't force it. It's a great project, and I think they deserve it at how that works now. I just want them to be more. Okay, I'm not going to speak about consensus. I think I said enough. I just hope it's a project. I think they deserve it, that they have now the price appreciation, though. It's really great news for everyone, I think.
Yeah. Oh, we got to get Quentin, Mr. Quibs, to basically make some deals for listing Zano on DeFi platforms like Near Intense or Hyperliquid or Mayo Protocol or whatever. And I think a lot of liquidity is going to come to it, because privacy is really hot right now. And it seems like centralized exchanges are making efforts to not support it, even though they could be making a lot of money. Maybe that they're just thinking about the future liability, like how much they have to spend on lawyers, and just to be sure that they are in the right jurisdiction to not go to jail or something for enabling liquidity for this. But the DeFi protocols, they're just booming right now. And I think Zcash went up to $700 because they were listed on these DeFi platforms. And then Monero got support from Hyperliquid, if I'm not mistaken. And it went up over the last week. It went up by like 20-30%, which is amazing. Maybe that you guys will be able to also get listed on one of these, because it seems like the momentum is there, the liquidity is there. It's only a matter of being able to get on the short list, which is super political. It might be costly. I don't know if they charge anything for listing, but seems to be pretty worth it.
I completely agree. We're in touch with Maya, with the Tor chain team, with Near Intent. It's just that we need those gateway addresses to hopefully make it possible. So yeah, stay tuned.
About the gateway addresses, is there a privacy trade-off with them? Are they like more transparent than normal ones?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a trade-off with the privacy. It's open. It's the same way as Ethereum ones. The reason why we decided to do this because there should be a connection point to the blockchain from the DEX, from some outer world DEX with transparent blockchain. And as soon as you make this connection, there is a connection point that impact the privacy on this connection point. For example, if you have transactions that coming from Ethereum or any chain from the bridge that bridge stablecoin or freedom dollar to Zano blockchain, and you see Zano transaction on this side, you can of course you can assume that this is this UTXO is have with this probability one of these have a this type of UTXO. Gateway address would act the same way, but we will put it so it doesn't change situation with the privacy actually on this connection points, because connection point with non-private blockchain will create anyway this influence on the privacy of the core rings. But we will make just the plug easier and remove this impact on one step further. So impact will be from this gateway address into this transaction that comes from it anyway. So and that's why we don't want to average users to use this address. That's why we making this like a paid addresses. So you have to pay to register this address. But it's it creates it introduces this implications at this point, but it exists only until we get full chain membership proof. As soon as we introduce full chain membership proof, this problem will be kind of solved. And at this point, we can maybe review our approach to gateway address. We'll see if there is a demand to use this more on exchanges or on other purposes, if people will be interested. Because if you see on Zcash, the majority of addresses are transparent addresses as far as I can see. And if we 100% sure that it doesn't break the privacy by default, if we 100% sure that it's not make any impact on the users that want to stay in the private, we may consider some other changes. But right now we are trying to be very conservative with this gateway addresses. I think Val want to comment on this something.
I just would like to say that in two steps this privacy trade-off will be mitigated. The first, and I think the first step that is implementing anonymity on top of these gateway addresses probably will be made earlier than the full chain membership proof plus integration, because as I said, it's not just integration, it's tailoring the whole technology to our needs, and it's a very complicated task. And to implement privacy on gateway addresses is easier task, but it's also complicated and risky. So we need to make sure that everything we do very, very well. So, and after this, so we will have these two steps, and after each of them, this trade-off will be like less and less important. And by the end of the day, with the full chain membership proof integration and privacy gateway addresses, I think it will now be no implications on the privacy, I think. So we will very carefully look at this in future, and we will do all the best we can do to maintain and to keep this, because it's very valuable and important thing for project. But yeah, that's how it probably will be implemented.
I think I've heard Ruben Yap, who is like the steward of the Firo project, that he had to do something similar to integrate some sort of exchange transparent addresses to be able to keep his project listed on Binance. But he did it basically for the opposite reason. He was already listed and he wanted to stay listed. You guys are doing it because you want to get listed on other exchanges?
Not only because we want to get listed, it's actually directed mostly to DEX thing, and for the DEX it's really hard to implement anything without support of this. It will make things more safe, more secure, and more easier to integrate for Zano to get onto DEX. I would, for the exchanges, we will still be recommending to use Zano privacy addresses, default addresses for the exchanges, because exchanges, it's different thing. It's they will also actually, it's going to be easier for exchange to use gateway address in terms of, for example, UTXO in a privacy coin sometimes create a headache. For example, if you get a big withdrawal that will drain the big UTXO coins, then second big withdrawal can create a lot of headache because the transaction are getting bigger because of the smaller UTXO included transaction. It's very slow, it's very big, it doesn't fit into the limits, the transaction fails, exchange write to us, we have to investigate, then explain them what to do. It creates a lot of headache. So probably some of the exchanges also will switch to these gateway addresses. I don't know yet, but it's also a matter of liquidity. If it's a big exchange and they have enough UTXO, diverse UTXO present in the custody wallet, they will not have these problems because we've been listed on many exchanges before and we didn't see these problems coming. So it's really, really complicated question. And we understand that if we give it to exchange, exchange may be poisoning the blockchain before its full chain membership proof. As soon as full chain membership proof there, we'll just give it to exchange and say, okay, you can do this. If it's open amounts, it will be compliance. So some exchange will be easier or less hesitate to list Zano. Or if it's going to be with a hidden amounts, gateway address can be with a hidden amounts in the future. If we figure this out, as was saying, it's going to be even way better. It's still instant sync. It still has no problem with UTXO managing. It's available all the balance immediately, and it still have a privacy properties with a hidden amounts. So we'll see, but at least for the start, we'll be very conservative and we'll be using it only for the DEX integrations.
Okay, sounds fair. Someone will have to give up on their privacy if they want to use this, but there is a lot of liquidity there. It's very hard to just
They
ignore
don't
it.
actually give up on privacy. That's what I was saying. The poisoning happens if you have this, even for Monero. If someone from Monero were, for example, connected to this outside world service, for example, DEX. If it's DEX, it's open source, it's transparent. You can see, likely you can see transaction that comes out and transaction that comes in. So you can connect. So if you see this, you can assume how much coins on these outputs anyway. And in our case, you can also have a set ID, which is hidden as well. In Monero, you can assume only amount, but it's also poisoning any privacy blockchain that connected to non-privacy entities or DEX. They have this connection point is like highlighting little bit, create a little bit of light on the privacy aspects. So we are not in a situation with the DEX, we're just creating a better connection point, which doesn't degrade the privacy level because it's already degraded due to the nature of the connection. I'm not sure if this explanation makes any sense to you guys, but I did my best to explain it.
It's fine. It's a pretty good one, and it's technical enough for the people who know what this is about to actually get an idea. The main takeaway from this is that you're gonna make an effort to get listed on these DeFi protocols to be able to bring more liquidity to the network, which is a net benefit. And I'm not sure if this is also good or this can also be done for some tokens that you have on your network. And I'm not going to pick something. I'll just say Vladcoin or whatever. I made that one. If you actually integrate this with DeFi, will that coin also be able to be traded on Hyperliquid or Maya
course,
or something
course.
else?
That's the point. Of course, it would be really stupid if you would do it only for Zano native coin. Of course, we do it for the platform, for everything we does.
So I guess even the FUSD and everything else is gonna become more liquid because of it.
Yes, 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 yes.
So what's the ETA, which is the estimated time of arrival for this?
We're doing our best. This week and last week, we just literally working our ass off to deliver this, because there is some expectations on this also. We have some people are waiting for this and pushing this really hard. So optimistic expectation will roll this out in the test network by the end of the January. And if everything is okay, if no complications, we'll start to prepare the hard fork. February, March, probably by the end of the March or the beginning of the April, it will be in the main network. But I'm being very optimistic, honestly, with this.
I mean,
We
not
need
financial advice, but there's some alpha here. Like there's some actual very good news to be expected. I mean, there's no guarantee that this integration, like delivering this type of addresses, is also going to guarantee listing on DeFi platforms. And once again, there's no guarantee that listing on DeFi platforms actually means that people will buy. So that there are two unknowns
Absolutely,
here.
yes.
But potentially, if everything goes right, there's going to be a lot of trading volume, and this will reflect on the price.
Yeah, that was optimistic ETA. We do care a lot about the security of what we do, because this is a cryptocurrency. We need to look at the code, at what we do very, very carefully. We have lots of guidelines in internal tests and automated tests, and all these things shouldn't be put aside just for the sake of the speed, because the price of mistake is very high. So that's why we extremely care about what we do to do it right. That's how I see it. So so yeah, the optimistically what Andrew said, but like if we find something that we need to spend a little more time just to make sure that no risk are involved, we will spend these additional weeks or two maybe.
That's how we actually work. I come to Val and say, let's do it quickly. Let's do it quickly. I know how to do it. Let me do it. Let me do this. And then I start to do it as well. I said, Andrey, let's do it slowly. Let's look into this better way. Look at this. Let's think about it more. And and then I say, yeah, we have to think about this more. We have to do more. Yeah, so we kind of have a different.
Yeah,
The,
and by then we
how to
have
say-
middle ground. Yes, because we have
yeah,
opposite forces.
that's true.
Yeah, so not financial advice, but to the 500 people who tuned in to the live stream, maybe get one Zano. It's $10. Who knows? Maybe it will make you rich. Maybe it will pay your rent one day. Who knows? But just for the sake of it, if you sat through this interview, just not for financial reasons, consider it like a lottery ticket or whatever. Get one. But the question is where? Because I think the largest exchange that supports Zano is MEXC. And
Quinton.
what else?
Yes, MEXC, CoinEx, Bitmart. There's like 15 exchanges, although they are smaller ones. I think the most convenient way to acquire some Zano is through one of the swap providers like Exolix or Let's Exchange. I would recommend one of those. And also, Vlad, when are you going to pump Flatcoin? Because I have like 6 of them. I'm a Flatcoin whale. So.
That's like 10% of the supply, man. It's risky.
Yeah,
You should not
my
be
God,
holding so
I
many of
have
them.
only one.
Yes, I bought many on Zano Trade when you were hyping it, and now I feel betrayed because it has no value. What's going on?
I don't know. I think I only have 1 or 2 of them left.
Maybe we can give some
so
away.
It's a full rug. Okay, we're gonna make our own podcast and invite Vlad and ask him why Vlad coins the scam.
I gave away most of it. I think people gave me 1 Zano for it on the exchange just for fun. And 1 Zano is like $10. If you want your $10 back, I'll give it back to you. Full refund.
I can donate you 1 of the Vlad coins I have.
If you don't want to hold it and that's slightly offensive, okay.
No, it's not that I don't want. I want you to do something. I want to motivate you to do something. That's how it works for open projects.
I have
you
a good
donate
idea.
them.
Why not have Annie launch a NFT collection on Obscura once it's live, because it's going to be private NFTs on Zano, and then when you have 1 Vlad coin, you can get 1 private NFT for it, something like that. That would be cool.
I'll take a bunch of butt pics and you get like a different one depending on how many Vlad coins
now
you
we're
have.
talking.
Or feet pics, yeah. There should be some sick fucks listening to this who are into that. No. I'm pretty sure there are no kids listening, so it's fine. Did I just destroy the spirit of the conversation? It was so academic and then suddenly it just plummeted. Anyway, I do have to remark that the first hour I sort of tried to roast you. The second hour, the conversation became a bit awkward. But the third hour was the best one. So to whoever listened to the third hour, I think you got the best feeling about where this project is heading. If you don't have patience for it, I will add timestamps in the description for the people coming later. I think we started a bit early for the American audience, which I guess is like 90% of the audience for this show. And they're gonna come later to listen. Is there anything left to add? Anything that we have not mentioned?
I think that's it.
Yeah, just would like to say thank you. I previously told thank you for you and for the people who support technology, because I think we are approaching the end of the podcast. But let me repeat it once more, that thank you for all people who do care about the technology. Thank you, because this matter. So that's what I would like to say.
Where can people meet you in person? Are you coming to any conferences or whatever?
Yeah, from time to time we do, sure. So once we met in person, and I think it will happen probably when we will be on any conference. But I don't have any specific plans right now. But maybe.
Are you coming to Monerotopia, both of you, Vlad and Soul?
No, I'm not coming. I'm not welcome anymore. Sorry.
I'm
We
not
kind of
coming this way
same.
this year.
But I might go to MoneroCon because I'm going to the film festival, which is happening next doors from MoneroCon, so I can just sneak in and be like, hey guys, and try to not get stabbed or something.
Okay, we got banned on MoneroCon, I think. We're not going there anyway. All right, I don't know. We had a meetup recently in Dubai here of Zana team, but we didn't. We were thinking to create something like a public meetup for everyone, but then we thought probably it's not a good idea, as privacy coins promotion in Dubai is not allowed. So we decided not to do anything like this. I honestly don't know where we're going. The next conference, probably. I really don't know. And we have a quite a big roadmap. So we are packed with work anyway. Quinton, maybe you.
Well, we're going to be present at Monerotopia, at least some of us, not all of us. So we'll be there. We are considering to go to Parallel Society in Lisbon, which is in March. And we will probably be at another Pork Fest if it happens this year. And we will also be at the National Libertarian Convention in the United States because we have quite a decent traction with libertarians in the United States, and we really want to focus on that more. So, but yeah, if you have any suggestions for more conferences, then please let me know. We are also considering ETHDEM again. I believe its new name is Common Sense now, which is in my country, in the Netherlands. So yeah, that's easy. But yeah, if you have more conferences that might be of interest for us, either you, Vlad, or someone listening, then yeah, please let me know.
Probably someone will create a new conference.
I don't know about that. Europe is not such a great place anymore.
Weren't you planning on
Privacy
creating a
conference.
Yeah, but
privacy conference?
then now you have to hire a lawyer or something and be sure that you're fine with everything.
Maybe
Fair.
somewhere not in Europe.
I don't know.
where.
I need to do some exploration for that. It's just that
Maybe
people
Kyrgyzstan.
say, you know, that this is a privacy bubble and privacy coins are going to go back to their previous levels. I believe that this technology has been brewing and developing for a long time. And it was mostly for paranoid nerds and for people selling drugs and for, I don't know, very small subsets of users. And suddenly it makes sense for everyone to use this. So all the paranoid nerds were right. They were saying that this future might be coming and it's going to get dystopian. That future is here. It's only a matter of adjusting your mental model and understanding that you do need to adapt to something that gives you privacy. And I see this market only growing from here. And there's a great future. Unfortunately, our governments are making it more difficult for us to even talk about it and meet in person to talk about it.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe people also realize that it's not very good when if you pay someone and that person immediately knows your balance and you know that person balance. It's not a very good payment instrument, probably. So that's maybe also a reason why the people start looking at privacy because okay, we need something more capable and more suitable for payments.
No, it finally makes sense, right? And the technology is also more mature than it was a decade ago. When this whole privacy coin concept came around, maybe, I'm not sure if Bytecoin was the first one to try to do it, but it was around the time that it became a trend.
Yeah, 2014.
I think it was
There was
2012 for Bytecoin.
Dash. There was a Dash.
Dark coin, yeah.
The project that called now Dash. It's called X. Then it was Dark, or before was Dark. But there was a project that was trying to use the coin join technology to achieve some level of privacy. But yeah, we were the first who was building the first protocol level privacy in it.
And then there was Zero Coin and Zero Cash 2013 and 2014. But we did not have Zcash until 2016.
Yeah.
Anyway, a decade later, everything is much better than it was. It's been developed. There's even Mimblewimble. I feel like I dropped the ball by not mentioning. There's Grin and there's Beam and maybe Mimblewimble coin, even though people see that's a scam. It seems to be the one that's most successful on markets. But even that one has some merit. And there's mathematicians and cryptographers working on it, and it became a lot better. So a lot of the privacy technology is more mature. Even the network level privacy. So Something else that I wanted to mention, and I do want to let you guys go. I don't want to hold you hostage, but I mentioned nothing about why you guys are not just adding Dandelion like Monero does for network level privacy, and what you think about these mixnets like NIM and whatever.
NIM is the one that does the VPN service for tokens. Is it accurate?
Well, sort of that's where they downgraded. In the beginning, they were gonna be a competitor to Tor, but then they decided they need to make money, so they launched a VPN service that's using their Mixnet infrastructure.
Well, it's apparently it's a direction to go with this. The reason we didn't implement Dandelion was the same. It was not implemented in Bitcoin. It doesn't give you, so we were not satisfied with the guarantees that this protocol gives. It makes spying way more complicated, I would say this, but it's still possible. And that's the reason why we didn't go for this, because it creates some sort of problem with the transaction relaying, but the outcome is not good enough for us. And that we were thinking, okay, we'll work on this later and come up with a better solution. Yeah, then we paid for this later because the attack happened in another project. We should have been implemented something, and we'll be doing something likely at least pretty similar to Dandelion, or if we come up with something better, we can do something better. Yeah, that's fair point.
I wasn't Luke Parker working on something network related for Sarai DEX. I thought he was working on something for IP related.
Maybe, I don't know. You mean recently?
Yeah. I picked that up somewhere. Are you still in touch with him, Val? Because you might as well ask him about it.
No, I can say that like I'm in touch, but if he is involved in kind of development with something network security, it would be very interesting to find out. Thank you for bringing it. So yeah, we will take a look.
Did he re-implemented the whole Monero node in Rust?
I'm not sure about him, but I know that there is a like bunch of people in Monero development community who would like to write a Monero client, Monero node, full in Rust. It has a special name. I don't remember, but yeah, that's effort.
Oxid something, I think.
I don't remember, but this effort was taking place. I hope they're active.
Yeah, I mean, we have to do this. We just stuck in so much work right now with the consensus and with the gateway addresses and the full chain membership proof, and a lot's going on with the integrations that we have and the ongoing problem bugs that we're discovering and the Immunify report that we are getting. So we are moving way slower than we actually would love to move. And we're probably going to be hiring soon, trying to address this also, because apparently we have a lack of manpower and we are not making it for a long time if we're going to be working in this mode, basically 10 hours a day. So we're trying to scale team, but it's also super complicated because to hire someone who is familiar with the code base, it's like chances are not high. And yeah, we just have the priority. It's a matter of priority. We know it's important, but we don't want to wait with the consensus. We don't want to wait with the full chain membership proof. We don't want to wait with the gateway address because it's holding integrations. It's super priority right now. And as we have come up with a kind of
not the perfect, but okay solution with a manual how to avoid IP address to be exposed for the stakers. I think we can live with this for some time. And we recently actually implemented support of SOX 5 proxy for the wallet. So whoever staking can actually use Tor network to propagate the blocks and transactions. We just not released it this year, as we just started to test it internally, but it's already implemented. I think today was the last commit on this made by Dima.
Yeah, it will soon be available.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's actually good news. I'm happy that I asked the question because there's a lot happening. It's just that I just need to point out to the right issues so that you guys can see, yeah, we're working on this. We've been considering this. It's not like you're ignoring it. So yeah, thank you very much for the long answers and the fact that you actually started a conversation around the topic. And network level privacy is super underrated. You should think of ways to protect it and to also consider what kind of adversary you might be dealing with, because if it's your ISP, most likely your ISP knows that you're using Tor or a VPN, but if it's some sort of third party on the internet, some stranger just lurking into what's happening, it's most likely a very good idea to use a VPN or Tor or a Mixnet or anything else that you might have. I wish I had like a ref link for people to get a discount for VPNs or whatever. I don't. I think the legit ones out there are... I'm having a hard time recommending it, but there's ExpressVPN, which does some research. There's Proton VPN, which is good. There's Mullvad, which probably has the best track record. And there's also iVPN. And of course, NIM, which launched a VPN. So these are the only 5 which I think are good.
I believe the best VPN you can use is the open source VPN that you download on the server of yours and use it. That's my take, because anything else is not safe.
How does it work? You put it on a Raspberry Pi or something and you run it on your router?
No, you can rent VPS for $5 per month or anywhere, but you install your own open source software there, and you make sure nobody reads whatever you're transferring or whatever.
There exists a community effort to make it more convenient for non-tech person. I remembering Amnesia project that is doing this approach. So you need to buy a VPS and download an application, and lots of stuff are going like out pretty much automatically. But by the end of the day, you have your own. So I think there should be more projects like this. But Amnesia for sure doing something like that.
There are also 2 VPNs that accept Zano for payments, and I believe also FUSD. So I just want to mention them because they deserve it. One is VP.net, and the other one is it's a bit of a strange name, but it's Mile DVPN. I think it's by Sentinel Project, which is a cryptocurrency as well. So yeah, you can check those out as well.
Wasn't Roger an investor alongside Mark Harpellis in some sort of new VPN? And if that's the case, shouldn't they also accept Zano?
I think that is VP.net.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's I think it's from Matt Kim, and Roger was somewhere on the website as a strategic advisor or something, I believe. So.
Oh, Matt Kim. Yeah, it's this one. You're right. Mark Harpellis and Roger Ver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible frog graphics. Not Pepe, but frogs.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can actually buy a VPN subscription using Zano.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, soon we will launch a small campaign where you can get a small discount, like 20% off if you pay with Zano, so, or $3. So if you plan to use it, might as well wait for that, and then you can get a small discount.
It's too bad that it defaults with credit card, and you have to actually scroll to the bottom where they have a button that's called more payment options, and in parentheses they say crypto, and then you actually have to register with an email. This sucks. I mean, no offense, I'm pretty sure that the VPN is decent, but on Molvad or IVPN, it just generates a number.
Yeah, and I was actually on a long, like 2-hour meeting with them last week, and they say they're gonna change it all. I gave them the critique that it defaults to the credit card as well, so they're gonna make the button for pay with Zano very large, and then if people are interested in what is Zano, they can click on it, and it will lead to intro.zano.org so that they can learn about it. And also they're gonna get rid of the email thing that is attached to it. They gonna go with some kind of key. I'm not too technical, so I forgot the name, but there was gonna be some kind of, a little bit like how MoveBot has it, right? You can get like this account number that generates, and then you can basically top it up with if you send Monero to it. I think they were gonna go with a similar approach.
Yeah, NIM works in the same way, except that it generates like a BIP39 seed phrase for your account. So not just a string of numbers, you get a seed phrase that's associated with your account and you can restore it. And you don't have to register, they don't have to know who you are or whatever. No identity required. You can actually open their website using the Tor browser, so they don't have your real IP address either. But you do have to log into the service using your real IP address, but it's more decentralized. You choose between various providers. Anyway, cool tech. It's out there. You can protect your network level privacy with it. And I'm happy that we opened up the conversation so people can learn something new about the stuff that's out there. Maybe you can get NIM to also accept Zano.
Yeah, that would be great. We're in touch with them a lot, actually. That we're also gonna do a Twitter Spaces soon. I believe Andrey, weren't we on? We were on a meeting with them like maybe a year ago, half a year ago. But the main pain point was why we couldn't integrate them into the Zano wallet was that it's a paid service, so the users would have to pay for the NIM Mixnet subscription, or we would have to pay for it, like either of those two. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was a little bit skeptical about this. So, yeah. I mean, I don't see how it's, and then someone can abuse the system also, and I don't know. And if we have to put some security deposit in the tokens or buy some amount of tokens, assuming some usage that will be someone can abuse it, and I mean it's really hard to. That's actually the problem, because attempt to build Mixnet on top of the blockchain technology was making a few times, and the problem is that it's really hard to monetize this and control this, because the nature of the network and it works. It's really tricky. So yeah, I don't know. But I like it, the team. I like it, the guys. They're trying to build something really decent. So it's maybe they will come up with some improvement at some point so we can use it. But right now the problem is not only that we cannot find the right partner for this. The problem is the fundamental addressing this problem in a fundamental way, and that's the tricky part. If we use their infrastructure, we have to kind of trust what are the nodes there. If the nodes are not involved in some sort of data collecting, if it's not intelligence actually, but because you know that a lot of VPN providers are actually created to create intelligence, because it's a perfect honeypot. it attracts people who has something to hide, and it's way easier if you have a VPN. It became just and you cannot break all the protocols, but you have some advantage for this, and it's introduced a lot of complications. Also, we don't know how the latency behave in this network. So I prefer, if we building something and integrate in Zano, it should be either built ourselves, or we know how it works and it use infrastructure of Zano network, which is the best way, or it's exists just as an optional. For example, as we building SOX proxy for the relaying transaction. It's optional if user running his own Tor proxy, or anything else. It could be any other mixed network, and they normally provide a SOX proxy as a way to work with this network. It's connected to this network. So yeah, it's up to user. They can use it, and we are happy to provide them a way to connect Zano transaction relaying and proof of stake block relaying over this network. Sure, but yeah, it's very tricky, and we not sure that we want to put our network independent of other project. That's my point.
I appreciate the commitment of you guys. Like, you have not shortened this conversation just because we almost ended the podcast 2 times. You actually discussed it as in depth as it
Yeah,
was
my headphones
required.
died. I switched them to one charging.
Yeah,
But
that's why I
it's fine.
use wired stuff, you know, because there's no battery, there's nothing that can possibly
Yeah.
go wrong.
Zero delay.
Zero delay
Yeah.
also, and I also read some stuff. Of course, it's negligible, maybe, that basically you're sort of microwaving your brain when you're wearing Bluetooth devices.
A little bit.
I'm not saying I'm that paranoid. I'm just saying that I use wires.
Yeah, I'm the same team. I love wired headphones.
Not just headphones, pretty much everything. Microphones and
Microphones as well, yes.
yeah. I have a lot of cables on my desk. And I have a drawer full of cables just in case. And every year I look at them and I'm like, should I keep them? Am I ever gonna use them again? And I'm like, who knows?
All right, I'm the one who used the Bluetooth. Okay. No, Quinton also using Bluetooth.
Yeah. Well, I only have to charge this thing like once every 2 weeks or something, and I use it every day, the entire day for work. So I guess my brain must be pretty fried by now.
Maybe this one gives you more energy to work.
Who knows? Who knows?
Okay, now seriously, is there anything else that we haven't discussed?
I think
No.
that's it.
Like, this is the most complete interview that you'll be doing all year. Take that, podcasters. There's no way you can top this.
Yes.
I guess we can do this again next year. The last time we spoke was, I think, October or November of 2024. And it was with you, Andrey, and it was also with Pavel.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember, but maybe.
Now, this was much more technical, and it had actually 3 people. And it had Val. I've been trying to get Val for a long time. I just needed an excuse.
Well, I'm really happy to be there. Thank you.
And also, Mr. Quibs, thank you for tuning in. Immediately after it was about his work, I guess he was watching this and he was like, no, I gotta defend the marketing of the project. And he just popped in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always watch everything, right? Because I it's my job. So, and as soon as I heard it was about exchanges, I know that Andrey and Val have a hard time answering that question. So, yeah, Thanks
he has
for
a book.
inviting me. And
Is your book on the wall?
yes,
Isn't it
yes.
nice?
Yeah, he has like the OG tiny version that they messed up in Mexico. This is
Yeah, this one is signed. It's 74. I believe I have like number 3 somewhere or number 4. I don't know.
This one is the slightly larger one, the way it was intended to be. So the story with the first edition, which actually might be pretty rare right now and collectible, is that I paid this print shop in Mexico City to do it. And they made sure that they cut costs with everything. So they made the format smaller. They also asked for more money, and they basically sent half of them. And then there was this tattooed guy with tattoos on the neck who came and said, unless you give me more money, we're just gonna burn the rest of them. Like, you only get half, and we spent more money making them, so you either give us more money or we're gonna throw them away and burn them. And I was like, okay, go ahead. I'm not giving you any more money. We had a deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're that tough. Wow.
And he realized that he's not getting more money, and he was able to concede and say, okay, you pay just what we agreed. Here's your magazines. I don't want to see you anymore. And I was like, I'm the one who doesn't want to see you anymore. I'm going to give you the worst possible review on Google Maps where I found you. I gave them 1 star. I explained everything that went wrong. They were assholes, and they were late by a couple of days with the printing. So yeah.
You got into the fight with the Mexicans. Wow.
It wasn't
You're a
fight,
tough
it was
person.
more of an argument. And I stood my ground. I was like,
it could become a fight.
This is not how you do business. You say how much you're gonna charge for the service, and that's how much I'm gonna pay you. You don't come later and you say, well, I want more money. Like, imagine going to your car mechanic, right? And he checks the car and says it's gonna cost you $200. And then you go take your car and he's like, I put more work into this. It's gonna be $400.
Isn't that how it works?
That's your fault. It's not my fault. We had a deal. We had an agreement. If you increase the cost of your service, it's on you. It's not on me. I never agreed for that.
You guys are tough in Romania.
Man, I grew up poor.
Yeah,
not poor,
I also grew
but
up poor.
middle class, and that was sort of non-existent in the 90s in Romania.
Yeah, same in Russia.
Like,
Yeah,
did you guys have a dandy?
No.
Unfortunately, no.
But I'm older than you. That was the reason, probably.
Like
some of my friends, some of my wealthy friends had dandy. I didn't.
Yeah, me too, because I was too not wealthy. Yeah, in my childhood, we were very, very, very poor to afford the dandy. So that's my
but that's
childhood
my
dream.
point, right? Because the dandy was a clone of Nintendo. And we did not have Nintendo in Eastern Europe. We had like cheap Chinese clones that were being sold under different brands. Like, it was Pegasus in Poland, it was Ending Man in Romania and Serbia, and maybe also Bulgaria. It was Dandy in Russia. And we had these cheap knockoffs that cost like 10% of what a Nintendo actually cost. And most of us kids didn't even afford that because it was pretty expensive for what our parents were making at the time. It's crazy, really. And then people wonder, someone actually told me that I have the white privilege. And I'm like, man, you have no idea where I grew up. Like,
it's not applied to
Eastern
Europe.
and yes, and Eastern Europe and all this. Yeah.
Like, I wish I grew up as a black man in the US. I had so many more opportunities and better chances.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, anyway, before I go on a rant about this, it was interesting. What were your first computers, by the way? What kind of computers did you start with?
I can bring a lot to this conversation if we goes to complain about childhood and the poverty and the childhood. I mean, I'm 45 now. I saw Soviet Union. I saw communism, like for real. This was really sad.
So I think if we're gonna start this conversation, meanwhile we can bring a lot. But I don't want to. I don't want to finish our stream with this notes of sadness and
No, but I'm
miserable.
curious what kind of computers you started with.
I was not able to afford computer for quite long time. But my parents are very not like simple people, and most of the time I spent in the college using their stuff, and post computer. Something shitty was given me on the at some point. I don't remember.
Was it like a ZX Spectrum or was it like a proper PC? ZX Spectrum
No,
was running basic.
by the time there was a ZX Spectrum, it was too expensive for me. My friend has one, and then he got 286 CPU, and then he got 486. I saw these computers only when I was visiting my friends. I desperately wanted one, but it was quite expensive, and no way my parents were able to afford this. But then way later, when the computers became cheaper and more available, I've got something, some Pentium something, but it was like a Celeron or something, like the cheap version of this. But it's like was way after this. But I know that this type of hardware, I've seen this. I was going to my friend who has this. I was going to work with my sister. She had this computer. I was had a chance to see these computers only in the computer class or when I was going to someone's work. So yeah, I was. But most of my childhood, I was learning about computers just from the books or from the articles or from the exhibition that I was visiting or when I was going somewhere when I can access to the computer. My personal computer, my first personal computer, I got really late when I was like, I don't know, 17 years old, 18 years old.
I can relate almost exactly to what Andrey said.
Computers was a luxury, literally luxury by this time. So yeah, probably in Romania it was even better than in our place. How often you see the people who said, "Oh, our childhood was worse than in Romania and yours."
Yeah, I don't know. I was lucky enough to get a Pentium 1 in 2000 when I was 8 years old. It was running Windows 95. I was one of the first kids in my neighborhood to have a computer, but it was like a 5 or 6 years
so
old
you're
computer.
the guy with a silver spoon. Oh man.
No, it was just my dad who was, I don't know, like a visionary. He was like, "This is the future. I gotta get a computer for my son."
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, I used it mostly for MS-DOS games and not for actually learning Borland Pascal, which is the first programming language that I tried.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, me too. But in my case, it was a book, like literally a book, and I was on my vacation on countryside during the summer, and I write programs on the paper. So that's how it worked.
Did you actually try them on a computer later, or
Yeah,
it
later,
was just
yes,
imagination?
Like after a year, yes, when I finally get a computer, yes, I tried. But like at first, yes, it was programming on the paper. Sounds crazy now. I don't know.
I mean, I gotta ask Quentin because he grew up, I think, in the Netherlands or something. Did he have a PlayStation 1 or Nintendo 64 and a Pentium 3 when he was like 10?
Well, it's definitely entirely different than you guys, that's for sure. My first experience with a computer was just a family computer with Windows XP on it. I did get the Nintendo 64 from my older brother and sister after them, so that was my first gaming console. I never really had a PlayStation, no. My first computer that I had, like that I actually owned myself, was with Windows 7, and but this was like 2010 or something, 2009. I'm 24 years old, so probably by far the youngest here, so different generation.
Anyway, crazy. Like I remember looking at magazines that were presenting the Nintendo 64, and it was like you could only see this in fancy shops, like put on display behind a glass window. You could never even touch it. But in the West, it was super popular, and I actually bought myself one with Monero like a year ago. It was on their marketplace. What's it called? Monero XMR Bazaar.
Yeah.
And I bought one from someone from Spain. It was like €100, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I never actually used it, but I'm just proud to have it. It's like a trophy.
There is no way anyone would listen this podcast until this point.
No, they
No
will.
way.
They will. Just make up a random word and tell people to write that in the comments.
I don't know. Val, can you come up with a random word?
Yeah, let's write down 255.19.
But it's not random.
255.19.
Yes.
Okay, let that be the random secret or whatever. So if someone actually listened up to this point, just typed 255.19 in the comments, chat, or whatever you have. Don't forget to leave a like or rating so more people find this interview. Thanks to all of you for being here for almost 4 hours. It's amazing, really. It's not even close to my record, which was set by another Russian guy who was on the show for 10 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
I know. And it's not like we actually planned to make it that long. He actually had stuff to say that was that long. Like frustrations regarding Bitcoin development. I guess that's what you get when you try to push an upgrade on Bitcoin, you never get it, and then you either start a career in stand-up comedy or you go on podcasts for 10 hours. Or you write a book. I don't know.
I actually believe Bitcoin will be proof of stake at some point. I'm pretty convinced about this. Not later than in 10 years. You can mark my words.
Okay.
But let's not speak about this another hour.
I mean, I can fight you on it, but it's fine. I'm not gonna. I'll let you go. Thanks to everyone.
No way you're gonna win this argument. I can literally put my life on this. That Bitcoin will switch into proof of stake, and it's gonna be very interesting time, but it's gonna happen.
Okay. I mean, I hope I'll be around for 10 more years to see that happening or not happening.
Yeah.
I can roast you in 10 years. You'll be
All right.
55 years old in 10 years, man.
If I survive this time, okay, only in that case. With this stressful work, I'm not even sure. Every year counts as 2. Every Immunify reports still few days of my life.
That's sad.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
worse than smoking.
Have a panic attack. Sometimes we have a panic attack together with Val because we think something is really broken, but then we figure out no, it's not broken, but it's enough stress to have a arrhythmia, like a cardio activity for the next until the end of the day.
It's a part of life already. So from time to time have a feeling that oh no, this is not true. Oh yes, everything's good. Okay.
And it was not like this before, but now when it's so much things are built on Zano, and we know the people who are building, we know people who are invested, we know everyone, and it feels like a really bad when something like this happens and you have this on mind. Oh fuck, are we screwed or not? And then it's no, it's all good so far. Yeah. So let's hope we're gonna make it until to
1036.
Well, let's hope that privacy will be the default for everything until then, for messaging, for financial transactions, for all sorts of communications, and it will be just normal. Nobody will call you anything for using it.
All right, deal. Let's hope for it.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Val. Thank you. I was gonna call you Zoidberg, but I'm gonna call you Andrey because it keeps it consistent throughout the interview. Thank you, Mr. Quibs, aka Quentin. And thanks to the sponsors once again. Brains, big announcement coming next week. Bitcoin.com news, Layer 2 Labs, Nuance.com, and Sideshift.ai. Thank you all for listening, all 600 something of you, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.